right?
Yeah. Oh, hello and welcome to the 65th episode of the Destiny Community Podcast, brought to you by Scuff Gaming Controllers,
Sure.
the podcast where every week we continue to beat the dead horse that is the Eververse.
Can we just rename ourselves to the Eververse podcast? What's new this week?
I don't know.
Eververse
I think we
Store.
might want to add more words to that.
Yeah.
Disassociate ourselves with the brand that is Eververse. I apologize for missing last week. I was a little sick, still am.
You were playing
Magic
Magic.
Gathering.
You're in a hot,
Come on.
Well,
and
guess
heavy
where he's going to
Magic
be
Gathering
tomorrow?
tournament.
I
Not
am
playing
actually-
Trials with me.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing my trial stream tomorrow because I'm actually going to be going and playing Magic with the but the lead designer of Magic, Mark
Oh,
Rosewater.
that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Physical
yeah.
cards?
What?
The physical cards?
Yeah, physical cards.
Wow,
man.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty
Physical
dope.
cards.
Wow. Yes, I'm
Look at his wall.
How'd you
Fran.
set
Those are all
that
Magic
up?
cards.
I didn't. You can pay to do it at Mock's Boarding House. Which,
Oh, you paid to do it?
Wait, we didn't talk about
it's a
Spellfire
draft. It's a draft. It's like a little friendly tournament type thing with 8 people, and then it was $10
You have to
to
hand
enter.
over your Magic cards to somebody else, and they play for you.
No,
Is this
No,
like
you
a Magic
can't
card?
do
You
account
literally
recovery
had
type of
somebody
thing?
carry you, right?
you can't do account recoveries in Magic.
Why
Yes, you could on
I
Moto.
used to play
Can't.
Spellfire, by the way.
Spellfire.
Yeah, that was D&D. That was Dungeons & Dragons
Okay.
official Magic game, Spellfire.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
You guys heard that other voice? That is a returning guest. At least I think he's returning. You guys definitely
Yes.
know him. Fran. Fran.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Welcome.
How's it going? Fran
Welcome.
of IGN or Fireteam Chat or my Twitch channel. all the above.
FM3.
That's right, FM3.
I only knew you from doing the GameCube Project Dolphin stuff.
Wow. Do you really? That's another.
Yes, seriously, I knew you from that.
That's
What? Let's talk about that later. I had no idea until right now that he knew me before.
Wait, can you
Destiny.
film?
Yeah.
Can you fill me in on this? Because I would like a little bit. I'd like to know a little
It's
bit.
your show, man. It's your show.
Well,
I mean,
let's-
this is the
let's hear
stage
about
where we're
this.
usually doing like bullshit interview stuff. So
Yeah.
we got like 5 minutes to kill.
Is that
before
what
we-
you think of it, Patrick?
This stupid stuff about
So
getting to
all
know
that
people
work I do
and
to
stuff,
prepare for those bullshit interviews.
Ugh.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I'm
want
on
to hear
the
about the
YouTube
Dolphin
comment
Emulator
right
because I
Yeah,
dabbled
let's hear
in that
about the
too.
Dolphins.
Oh man.
Not the emulator, not the emulator.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Dolphin
Yeah.
Emulator is named after the original name for the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Dolphin.
You didn't know that, man.
Man.
Come on.
Well, no, I know it was called the
You didn't
Dolphin
know-
Emulator, but I didn't know it was named after a game. I just assumed it was the
You
Dolphin
didn't know-
N64 emulator.
That the sound chip in GameCube was called the Flipper. That was the code name for the sound chip.
Or
Because
GameCube,
man,
yeah.
like
Wow.
I thought everybody knew.
Wow.
That's pretty sad, isn't it? Yeah, I used to cover GameCube fervently when I was going to college, and that's how I ended up where I am today. I wouldn't be sitting here if I wasn't at home on a fan site. The kids now call it blogging. But yeah, I was just writing on the side for what happened was I was reading an article about Metroid, and I corrected them on something about Planet Zebus or something like that, and they were called Dolphin Cove. And I was trying to get all my Project Dolphin news, and that was for GameCube at the time. Was called Project Dolphin. I think Wii was Project Cafe, or maybe that was Wii U. But they codenamed their stuff. So anyway, long story short, I was doing that, and then I just happened to pick up a few news stories. IGN recognized me, and they were like, "Hey, are you Fran from Dolphin Cove?" They thought it was a girl, by the way. I was in their IRC chat at the time, which was basically a version, Reddit or whatever it is today. But yeah, so they hit me up and they said, "You should work here someday." And I was like, "I'm going to get a real job. I'm going to school for computer engineering. My dad's a scientist. I'm going to get a real job."
Thanks,
I'm
That's
not
exactly how you
Thanks.
said it to him too.
yeah, I'm not gonna write tips and tricks. And anyway, one thing led to another, and I was in like summer school at the time, and they were like, "We have a job opening." So I took it. Started off as an IGN 64 editor. So yeah, that's where it
cool.
started. But
That's really cool.
launching coverage of GameCube, which at the time I was one of the people that broke the story that it was going to be called Starcube or GameCube. We knew it was one of the two. So we went so far to register cube.ign.com as our main domain. We didn't know if it was Starcube or GameCube, and that is how IGN Cube, not IGN GameCube, was born. So if you ever knew IGN,
I think they made the right decision there.
We were thinking.
Starcube.
Anyway.
But if it was in the shape of a star, it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Starcube was a really weird name. They registered it. What happened was I was searching the database. What is the internet database? But I was searching the main one, the net database, and I noticed that the company that had registered Pokemon had the same address as the one that had Starcube and GameCube. So that's how far they registered the domain. That's how I was like, they're doing it. Yeah, I found that. It was like totally crazy, but
that's cool.
Anyway, yeah.
So just begin back in the emulator, and then Okay, actually,
not the emulator, the actual GameCube.
No. What made the switch from you thinking computer engineering and all that to this is going to be a real job?
Oh man. Well, I was in Calculus 4 at the time, and my brain was leaking out of my ear, and I hated school. I hated my teachers. I was going to University of Cincinnati. I just didn't like it. You know, we all find ourselves in those spaces.
Take that, University of Cincinnati.
Exactly. That's right. I just was not enjoying it. It was actually a good pro for engineering, but I was not feeling it, and arrived at one of those points in time where I was like, you know what, I'll go to California. And then I thought I would come back and go to school, but one thing led to the next, and then I started doing like video, and I was photoshopping, at the time, and learning all the basic web skills, and then video on the internet got big in about 2005 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, Fran, do you want to start iGen's video team? It's funny. I was like, let me think about it, because I was like writing features and doing all this different stuff, and I woke up the next morning. I was like, yeah, video on the internet. That sounds like a good idea. And then that was back in 2005, right at the end of 2004. So I started video before there was HD and all this stuff. So it's pretty crazy.
You started the video on the internet.
Not like
about
all of
games.
It. Not all of
Don't be humble. Be humble.
Yeah, don't be humble. It's okay. Video.
Okay.
Well, everything that we
You
do
invented
today
video.
is due to
I
video.
invented the internet.
I built the first capture card.
Yeah,
So,
I did not.
yeah.
I'm willing to bet that I was one of the first, I'm going to say at least 50 people, if not more, to upload HD gameplay on the internet.
Wow.
Because it was very hard to do.
Used to be a big deal.
And
Yeah.
so that was how far back it goes. So anyway,
Wow.
enough about that. Do you guys play Destiny still?
Everversity?
Yeah. Everversity?
Everversity? I love that, actually. I love the Everversity.
Oh, it's been
there's
cooking around the Twitterverse for a while.
Tonight we're going to be doing a couple things on the podcast. One, we're going to be reflecting on 2017 and the year it was of Destiny, right? The launch into where we are now, and even any memories we have from that. But also, I wanted to look ahead. There was a leak about some information of what we could get. So a lot of it is not confirmed, but I would like, it kind of falls into what I was hoping that we could do is that look forward, and where we could, just put on our tinfoil hats and just go to town on what we think 2018 is going to look like. And if, we're still going to be doing a podcast in 2019.
Oh, wow. Man. Ooh, that's a mic drop emote.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to get that serious. I thought we were just
Well,
going to make fun of Tess Everest for a little bit, ask Fran how he started playing Destiny, and then maybe do some Twitter questions.
I think we're past the point where Bungie needs to respond to what's going on, and I think there's a lot of people out there that have had enough with Eververse and are looking at. Yeah, I mean, you guys know. Everybody who listens to this show, would know that I make a lot. I give Bungie a wide berth. I allow them to make, these mistakes and then say, okay, we can come back together and we can do this thing, right?
Sure.
So I'm at a point where I'm thinking that they need to respond really strongly to this when we get back, and it's going to affect how I play the game. It's going to affect the amount of energy and time that I want to put into it. So, but I don't want to put it into a negative right now. I'd like to.
Before we move off that, I'd
spin
actually
that
like
onto
to
positive as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Fran a little bit about this, because I've been listening to Fireteam Chat quite a bit, and you guys have had quite a problem with the kind of current state of Destiny. And, yeah. Like, how are you guys feeling about it? Like, we've seen the community really kind of take this turn with microtransactions, and it seems like it's not just the Destiny community; it's the entire video game community. Where okay, we've had enough.
2017, right?
Battlefront really seems to have just kind of like been an off switch for gamers' tolerance to loot boxes.
You know what it is? I think I just came up with this metaphor. So stick with me. So when you're like in good lighting, you're like in a club, a lounge, you're like, everything's fun. Like everything's great because that's what we had with Destiny 1. We had it for 3 years. It went through its problems, but the lighting was nice overall, right? Mm-hmm. We could stick with it. The beat was good. And the Eververse was there. I mean, it's definitely changed, but it was still there. And we all were like, whatever, the Eververse. Didn't really need it. Well, the lights are on now. And so like, we've all we're staring it in the face where before we could ignore it. It was like, whatever, if you want to have the Eververse, but now the music is off and the lights are blaring.
Everyone's
and we're
sweaty.
Everybody's sweaty.
Everyone's
and it's
drunk.
just, it's gross.
If you want to turn on the music, you got to buy a loot box and hopefully you get the music thing. There's a chance.
It's a jukebox.
You got to pay the DJ money instead of it before it was free.
Yeah, there's some dirty after party that you're trying to figure out, should I really do this? And anyway, sorry. But no, I think what I'm trying to say, right, is I don't think the Eververse is the real problem. I think that it's being exposed. And now that we see it, we're like, yeah, this sucks. Like, why is this a distraction amongst all the other problems? And I don't think they have a good excuse for it because all they can say is, well, yeah, we're trying to make some more money. That's the only excuse for the Eververse, right? I mean, I don't know if you guys see a benefit to the Eververse. Someone explained to me that they thought lore was the benefit, that when you get a dumb emote from real life of the Carlton, it's like, well, you have to put it in the Eververse. I don't know what you guys think, but
yeah, I think the biggest problem and why people have been so upset with Eververse and Destiny 2 is the lack of stuff that's in the game for us to earn.
Yeah.
If we had a deep and extensive end game and a very in-depth mod system, and we could get like Ikora's ship and all of those things in the game, but there was still some Eververse stuff that we could buy, I think people would be like, I still have all this stuff that I can earn. But the problem is they had such a shallow end game and such a shallow game to get things that you want that it ended up being like, okay, well, all the stuff that I want is in the Eververse store.
Yeah,
I just want to see somebody make a video about the lore of the Carlton dance. There you go. That is a video I want to watch right now.
I actually,
life is on it.
I realized about a day or so ago, like something that I've been trying to figure out what the designer's decision-making process was for making the armor literally just have 3 stats and not really care aside from cosmetic levels. So raid armor from planetary vendors, armor everywhere that you can get, and plus armor in the Eververse. And I was like, why on earth would they make this insane choice where it was so interesting to go get new armor and new raid gear from D1? Because I was like, oh, what is it going to do? What are the perks? What's this unique spin it's going to have? And then it dawned on me that the only thing that makes sense of why they did that is to make Eververse gear attractive. So if you want to look cosmetically good and not have it affect your gameplay, then take away all those perks. Don't have any kind of special perks from the raid or anything like that on that armor. Make it so that all of it, including the Eververse armor and the planetary armor and also the raid armor, are essentially the same. And I was like, wow, that is literally the only reason I can think of that would make them want to make all the armor the same, is so that you think I should go over to Eververse and buy the Dawning gear.
In Destiny 1, they fit the Eververse into the game that existed, but it feels like in Destiny 2, they built the game around the Eververse, right? It's like everything from like showing off emotes and costumes at the beginning of trials matches, the fact that there's no loot for the end game, the fact that there's no ghosts and ships, for doing raids and trials, like all that stuff is pointing you to the Eververse. The fact that you get bright engrams that always keeps the Eververse in your mind, you're always going to that Eververse because you can never get away from it. It's just the entire game is built to drive you to that store and keep you spending money.
Yeah, I think you're right that there was the design goal there. Going back to what Tef said, I think there's absolute merit to what you said that I never even thought about, that they got rid of, the random rolls on your armor gear, which makes it sort of equal for the most part, other than your light level, which is very easy to fix, getting stuff out of Eververse. That's actually a fascinating point. I never thought of that.
Every single D1 raid had armor that helped you in the raid.
Oh,
you had perks in there that made sense.
And you had trial stuff as well.
thing.
Exactly.
Where when you
Which
get
drives me
revived, you
nuts.
run faster and you reload faster and
Exactly.
stuff. And
The game was more dynamic.
But I think that's different. I think they dumbed the game down to make it a little more casual, right? A little more accessible.
Yeah.
You don't need the raid gear to succeed in the raid.
There is that argument, Fran. There is that argument, and Tefty's bringing another layer to that, which I've supported your argument in that it is that dumbing down of the game for the casual player. But you know what? The more we're getting into this, and the more we're kind of peeling away the onions. I mean, Tefty's position on that, like, it seems more plausible. You know, it seems like, hey, they're.
Here's another reason why I don't think it's casual, because we still have exotic armor that gives specific perks, and you can't get those exotic armor out of Eververse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh goch.
I
trying
think
to fix my
You
camera.
okay there,
That's a
Fran?
problem.
Is there an earthquake happening?
Somebody said, "Is Fran's house on a hill?" I tried to fix my camera.
Now you messed it up.
Oh no!
Don't touch
the
it.
internet gets
There you go.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
You're good.
All right, we're good now.
For our audio listeners, Fran just made all of us car sick. So
He was
You were-
experiencing a
yeah,
fake
you won't see
earthquake.
it was.
All right, sorry, but to finish the point though, like I didn't like random rolls. I didn't like trying to get a vault set or a King's Fall set and taking forever to get that stuff. So I guess I would have accepted if there was a way to like get the full sets easier and there's still random rolls. I think that would have solved the problem for me. But it's interesting that you sort of look at it that way, where it encourages you or makes the Eververse a little better. So yeah, but it's just more casual across the board, I think.
It is.
Yeah, I think that when Bungie was like going into this game, they were like, let's just try and make it as accessible for as many people as possible. And I think they dialed in on that way too much. Instead of it like splitting 50-50 between like people who are more casual, not saying that casual is a bad thing, by the way. People get mad at that word. And then people who are hardcore, it was kind of like real dialed into just being accessible and easy to understand for everyone.
I'd be so interested in seeing what like the retention rate of players is compared to Destiny 1.
That would be super interesting.
Like just
I bet
to
it's
see.
similar, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but like the retention rate of like not only you have like the players that would go in really quick and like basically the type of people that would play a game, play the story, out, don't care. Like to see if those types of players would stick around longer into the game, but then also the types of players that would keep playing the game, you know, ad infinity. If those types of players dropped off more in Destiny 2 compared to Destiny 1, I'd be really interested to see those metrics and like wonder, is this a success? I have no idea. I don't have the numbers.
I had to look up ad infinitum. I was wondering what you were trying to say too. I couldn't remember either.
I've been pre-gaming in this.
Yeah,
podcast.
I couldn't remember either. I was like, "What is it?"
Continuation.
Anyway,
Year one of Destiny 1 felt like, you know, there was the game came out, everybody had huge expectations for it, and a lot of people were like, "There's no story here. This game is trash." And then there was like this core group of people who, yeah, we saw the flaws of Destiny 1, but there was something to this game that, you know, we still loved, whether it was PvP or doing raids or, you know, whatever it was that kind of kept us playing. You know, I think there's probably still that group with Destiny 2. It's probably harder to justify your reasons to your friends this time around. But I think it's probably similar.
Yeah, I'm just curious because we've been, you guys have done the podcast every week. I haven't been able to keep up with it. But what's the tone in the room? Because I'm kind of coming in and you guys are talking about the Eververse. But like, let me start by
the room in here.
Yeah, let me explain mine, which is I play Destiny. I'm trying to get 3 characters because I already have 2 characters on PS4, and I've switched to Sorry, I was on PS4, switched to PC, and I feel that I need to get through all that. I need to get all 3 characters set up. I need to get all my gear to kind of be ready for the next thing because I do Fireteam Chat. I need to be up to speed, but I really want to play a bunch of other games. So I actually feel a bit of a negative where I'm like, I got to keep up. So I'm curious where you guys are coming from. Not in terms of streaming at all, playing games. Like, are you playing? Are you enjoying it?
So for me, I'm in the camp that sees all the problems of Destiny 2, but still really enjoys playing it. I think the gameplay is still satisfying to me. Obviously, Endgame has very lackluster, but there's nothing out there right now that can actually give me the Destiny experience that's new with like the looter shooter type of thing. So I still enjoy it. I have 3 characters on PC. I haven't touched PS4 and Xbox legitimately since PC release, so I do feel bad about that. But at the same time, I've just been really enjoying the Destiny experience on PC. That's been feeling really good. But I also have the struggle of having a bunch of games I want to play all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must feel some need to play it though.
Yes and no.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Because you played a lot.
I do.
Considering.
Yeah.
All the great, like you just were commenting on what was the game you're playing?
Oh, There Are Billions. Yeah.
Yeah, There Are Billions.
Yeah.
Do you feel the need to switch because you're a community and because your duty?
I'd say it's like a 50-50 thing. Like there is an expectation because of Destiny, but at the same time, a lot of people understand if I do switch games and play other stuff. Like during the summer, I think I played very little D1. Like it was like once a week for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Destiny 1 had a grind aspect to it that Destiny 2 doesn't really have like long term. So like off stream, I would be playing Destiny 1 all the time because I was constantly grinding for, better raid gear. Yeah, swords, exotics in year 1. I mean, I didn't get my Monte Carlo until 10 months after release.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen in Destiny 2.
Right.
But so I don't really play Destiny 2 when I'm off stream unless somebody asks me to do a raid or a trials card, like specifically. It's really just become a stream game for me.
Yeah, I found it other games nipping at the heels. I don't feel any compulsion to have to play at all. I play maybe 4 to 8 hours a week maximum anyway. So for me, picking up other games has been fun, but I never really get to play any game. I never really feel the need to play any other game to any extent other than Destiny. I do have wanted to play Call of Duty. I've really enjoyed that. And I've enjoyed Fortnite a lot.
Yeah.
And so those games, when I sit down, I literally sit down, and if it's not compelling me to play, I start up my PlayStation, and whatever compels me to play, I play. And more often than not, it's been Fortnite. But recently, I've been really enjoying playing Destiny, and it really honestly has to do with Mayhem. I'm enjoying
Mayhem, man.
Mayhem.
It
is so much fun. And it's not like once you get into playing it in squads of you get 4 people together and you start coordinating, it is a lot of fun. Just choosing your builds, choosing your and you come up against every 5 or 6 games, you'll come up against a team that's actually fun to play against, hard, where it's close. But for the most part, you're just shooting the shit and you're trying to see.
They're using the Infinite Nova Bomb glitch.
Those guys aren't that hard
never
to
win.
deal
Ruins
with.
it.
They never win.
Yeah, they always lose.
Yeah,
it ruins it.
It's really, really not that hard to deal with those guys. You just, especially if you have some sentinels but it's definitely a game that the reason I've been attracted back is because the game is fun. I'm excited to play PvP. I haven't touched trials at all.
Yeah, the thing that Mayhem made me realize was that we're so you run back on the radar because you got to get back to your team. And that effect of that 4v4 team play has really taken its toll. You don't run out and engage. And finally with full power, I was like, I don't really care. I'm just going to run out and fight people. How simple of an equation that turns out it is. But they've really screwed it up. I just want to run out, right? And fight someone. And I feel obligated and handcuffed to my team.
Yeah.
And I would love that as a mode. I think that fits well within the competitive playlist, and who knows. But I think they've really screwed up the time to kill, man.
Not good enough. You just got to get.
That is a separate point, regardless that it is true.
I've watched your streams, man. You know how to throw it down.
No, not at all. Yeah, I appreciate you trying to make up for your really harsh insult, but no, but no, the time to kill. But I see. By the way, Holtzmann's gears have been spinning. He didn't really say anything.
Oh, I've.
You know what, Fran? Here, wait. Let's stop this real quick. This is our podcast, all right?
Like,
you're gonna come in here and start asking questions, directing the conversation.
Excuse me, I like it when I'm asked questions. Thank you. I don't care about you guys, but if you want to ask me something, please do.
You know, I see you. All right.
We need to know what would Patrick do.
What would Patrick do?
We want to know what would Patrick say.
What do you got going on?
Extension.
I'm sorry.
So, as far as like tone in the room, things to play, if you check my YouTube channel that this is uploaded to, you will notice a stark lack of content that's come out for Curse of Osiris. Normally, because like I like to review exotic stuff, armor, weapons mainly, and the problem that I'm faced with is most of the stuff out there that we've been getting that's new is just so underwhelmingly just bland and uninteresting. Visually, a lot of the stuff is great, but that I can't make a weapon review and say, hey, this looks cool, because generally everything looks pretty cool, but we care about how stuff plays. And for 99% of the time, aside from a couple things, most of the new items that we got in the expansion, just most of the things in the game are just unexciting. They're not fun. When you like, just as some examples for armor, man, I love the Gemini Jester boots. They actually have really great things for hunters. Gives great utility, but kind of unexciting to just shade step, and you don't see like a big visual effect. Titans, you can place a barricade now with the Kepri's horn, and it'll shoot a flame wave. Man, that would be cool if that actually killed something. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. Crimson, the hand cannon. I
want it so bad.
It's really cool. It's absolutely gorgeous. The ornament for it, I was being sold this week. Picked it up, and I was like, yeah, this thing looks great. But it just takes all the bad parts of hand cannons and all the bad parts of pulse rifles or just pulse weapons, throws them into the same weapon. And I'm just like reminded of Mark Rosewater's talk, like the 20 things that you should do as a game designer. And one of them is, just because you can try to do something doesn't mean you should. Or to lesser effect, you have to realize when a failure is a failure. And Christ, statistically, everything about that weapon is just a complete failure. Not failure. It's just, you got no reason to run it. It's just a statistically worse weapon compared to every other hand cannon. And it's cool that it's this unique thing, but fucking up the power level. And then the only thing that's making me go back and play Destiny is really Mayhem right now, because it ups the power level of everything.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. That I think in general, we all just want to be more powerful. We lost our light. That was cool for 2 missions.
for like 5 minutes in the campaign.
We've got our light back. It's back. We're back to being powerful. Like let me feel powerful. Because in Destiny 1, I could play PvP for so many hours on stream or off stream, and I had a blast. And that's because I could run out there by myself and be like, let's see how many dudes I can go kill. And it was fun to do that because I could pull off some crazy things sometimes. In Destiny 2, it's so few and far between. And I would just love to have a little bit more power to enable me to go in there, be crazy in PvE and PvP.
Yeah, I agree.
True Vanguard and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, specifically that actually. And we always talk about like the grind of wanting to get a thing, an item. For a lot of players, specifically PvP players, it's not necessarily a grind for an item or a thing. It's a grind for those moments that we really enjoy, that we can walk away from a game and go, oh my God, I did this thing, this play. And like that will keep you going back. And that usually involves like, really proper, well executed plays. And for that,
this is a sandbox problem, right?
I drew a diagram a while back, and
I have it right here.
Do you have it on the board?
I have it on this piece of paper, but it has a bunch of scripts that I don't reveal on camera. And it's basically a triangle, and there's like 3 things that are fucking interconnected. It's like Eververse, loot, sandbox, and stuff. And we always talk about, Eververse is the problem. It's like there's 3 things that are the huge issues in the game, and you gotta fix all 3 of them at basically the same time for it to really have that type of change that we're wanting.
Enticing, to feel fun.
It's true.
So the thing is,
bring back the space magic.
They've got enough information right now. They're asking for, to Bungie's credit, they're out there, out front, saying, give us your feedback. I think we're at a point where we've given our pain points enough. Like, hey, this is what we don't like, right? In some more constructive ways than others. But I think the community is shared as a whole. I'm really excited now to hear what they're going to do about it.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I'm looking forward to the new year. I want to see that first blog post is going to be so important because we haven't had one, and this is new year, and they're like, we're going to talk about it in the new year. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see it.
I don't know if I'd get your hopes up.
Excited / scared.
We're back from vacation. Good to see you. We're listening.
Man, exactly.
But
we added more snowballs.
Yeah.
Snowballs.
Well, I'd like snowballs. Are you saying
I do like snowballs?
They're going to take the timer out and they're going to put it in PvP?
Yeah.
What? Take that out of context.
No, I think they need to have like a playlist. They should have had a PvP playlist called Snowball Fight. And there's snowballs everywhere.
It's called the tower.
It was like
superpower. Yeah, it's like a super where you just like chuck giant ice balls at people.
Yeah.
And it lobs their heads off. Actually, because
it's funny about Mayhem. Like in D1, I didn't like Mayhem. It was too chaotic. In D2, I'm loving it because we have been starved of power in PvP. And just like you said,
what I said too.
Just like you said, there's no feeling like you could run out and make a play. And so the play, the Mayhem has been exciting to do that. The other night, somebody was coming down super high with Fist of Havoc, and I chucked a Nova Bomb right in their face. Like looked up, chucked a Nova Bomb, and I was like, Mayhem. This is awesome.
hit him in the taint.
Yeah,
actually,
it was a fast Nova too. It wasn't a Slova. I don't rock that Slova garbage. I go fast Novas.
The Slova's awesome if you haven't tried it.
No.
Yeah,
I have.
No, it's great when you're throwing one every half second.
Yeah, not Slova glitching. I'm talking about just using it as it is. Oh,
plus you can't devour.
I've been messing around with it. Who needs devour?
A fitting aspect. So you have D1 level melees. Definitely.
If you're meleeing somebody in Mayhem, you're doing it wrong.
That's fair. No, actually, that's not true. I beat up a ton of people today.
Man.
Because you just run in there with nades and super. You can get as close as you want.
Exactly.
You don't have to play this.
Dude, Axiom
Legend Acris, let's say it
throwing Axiom Bolt grenades that are Seeker grenades and then just Slova bombing a corner and getting the Seekers going. And someone runs around. Have you seen a wave of Seekers, of like 7 Seekers coming down the hallway?
Yeah.
That's the scary stuff. That's fun. That's the power level we're talking about.
They're both awesome. I prefer Devour 100%.
For sure.
But they're both awesome.
For sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is what's missing right now. And I'm still a firm believer that I think they need to bring back 6v6. I know some of the maps are not designed for it, so they have to adjust things and so on and so forth. But 4v4 makes this like, you gotta hug everybody's ass type of experience. And 6v6 would be more stuff happening. And also if they brought down the time to kill, so you had 3-tap hand cannons more consistently, I think it would be better, just a better ecosystem. Yeah. I think people would enjoy it more. But yeah, definitely. They need Trials Classic as well. I'm sorry, but I miss
Elimination.
I miss Elimination Classic, and I miss 3. It is kind of hard to put together teams of 4, and there's just something about it. I guess it's harder to carry. And I'm the one in the backpack. So, it's really hard for me to get on a team because it puts a lot of pressure on that third person to be also awesome. It's just, honestly, it's asking a lot. I don't know what you guys prefer for Trials, but absolutely. I didn't know going in, but 100% 3v3, classic elimination. I just prefer it. Like going to res something.
I like the 4 in Trials just because it adds another person that I get to play with. For an afternoon, because when I do Trials, it tends to be basically starts at 2 or 3 in the afternoon and goes to 6 or 7, and it's just you just get to spend. There's one extra person in that fire team cracking jokes and making fun of each other, and I don't mind having the 4th person.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
But you're Hollywood.
I'd like to have the elimination back though.
I would like the elimination too.
I do like elimination. I think elimination is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was in that rumor that it was coming back along with Mayhem and Rumble, right?
Yeah. So maybe it is
there. I think
Rumbles of everything's coming back. It's just when is it coming back? Like
Gallahorn,
when are they rolling it out to the Eververse?
When is the Gallahorn coming back? Come on, people.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Christmas.
I don't mean
Next
everything.
Sure.
Hope wants his Fatebringer, man.
Yeah,
Everything. I want
hate to tell
Fatebringer
you, but I think this Christmas, man.
There's always a Christmas.
We're slowly going to get all of
363 days.
D1 stuff back into D2.
Speaking of
the
gifts,
next
though,
3 years, yeah.
I got some 900 thread count satin sheets for Christmas.
Egyptian?
Ooh.
I don't even know.
Just like
I just saw 900 thread count and satin sheets.
You like
and
try
I
to
was
get in bed and you just slide
yeah,
right.
I'm
That's how nice it is.
save those for summer when it gets
They actually
nice and hot.
you
but,
slide off and you hit your head in the wall and you knock out.
yeah. Just knock
You
out.
just get
Very
crushed,
restful
but it's the
sleep.
best sleep you've
Who
had.
needs sleeping pills? Just
There you go.
inertia that shit into a nice sleep.
It's very helpful to keep from friction.
Mhm.
My wife got me tickets for
You got a
Guardian
lot
Con
of
for
friction
Christmas.
in your bed,
Ooh,
Poop Bear?
nice,
Oh.
Briar. Nice.
Yeah.
What did
Really
your wife
excited.
get you?
Tickets for Guardian Con.
Oh, yes.
So you can
By the way-
you can we got them. Yes, we get them with our booth. But
Pretty sure we get them for free, but all right.
yes,
Hey,
we do.
It's a Christmas
I
present.
still usually buy
We get them with the booth.
I always buy my
Okay,
tickets.
we'll be
I'm
returning
never
those.
Sure. Never sure they'll let me back in. Did you guys
Tomorrow,
see that?
Briar, giveaway for Guardian Con.
Yeah, Fran, you're welcome at our booth at any time.
You know I'll be there, man.
Yeah,
you guys
you
are the
know-
only live stream around, so it's great.
We're gonna have you. We're gonna have you as a interviewing people as they walk by.
There you
Wear
go.
clown hats or whatever you need me to do.
No, man.
Did you guys see that little kid who got Guardian Con tickets that Broman and them
No.
retweeted?
No.
Nobody
No.
saw it?
I didn't see that.
It'll make you
No.
cry. It'll make you cry.
Oh, boy.
I'll send it out after.
I haven't
Yeah, I'll
cried
watch it right now.
in. I don't know when did Toy Story 3 come out?
Toy Story 3 was good, man. So
I
2
think that was
good.
my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long
Because
ago
I
was that?
went to
Like,
the.
a
I'm
week ago?
28. So
Username.
it was 7 years ago. Was it 7
7
years?
years?
June 18th, 2010. So
That's the last time
Yeah,
you
7
cried.
years ago.
yes.
Wow.
Wow. I think
So-
I just learned Pat might be a little cold.
I will send
No,
this out.
It
but
did
the-
snow here this week. It was kind of cold.
But the nice part about the little kid is not so much that he's overwhelmed by a gift, but that he feels guilty that his dad gave up. His dad wanted to go to Worlds for League of Legends and gave that up to give him Guardian Con. So I won't spoil the whole thing, but it's a really
Wow.
endearing moment that you appreciate that the little kid has been taught well enough that he appreciates that, but
Yeah.
I'm taking away a gift. Like, it's Christmas. You wouldn't expect most kids to act that way, but he appreciates what his dad has given up. And he's like actually just overtaken by it. And it gives me hope in humanity. So it's worth watching. Yeah.
Nice.
Open humanity. That's a rare. It's a rare treat right there.
It is. So watch
Yeah.
it for that reason.
Well, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the leak that came out? Since we're talking about social
we
It
media.
might
wasn't
as
like
well.
super in depth, so I'm down.
No, let's get into
Charlemagne,
it. Let's get
right?
right.
Potential
No,
leak.
can't do that.
So
I got nothing
Fran
else
has
to really talk
informed
about.
us that this is real.
Yeah, he
Is
confirmed
it
it.
fake?
Fran confirmed
Fran
it.
confirmed on
I
IG.
100% did not. No.
This is coming from the
IGN's
front
lead
pages.
news editor, Fran Mirabella. No, that's not the case. I said I was
Officially
surprised we
confirmed
ran it.
leak.
The problem is it's the holidays. So the story went out. So I was actually checking like IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, there, seeing who would pick it up. It's questionable. It seems like the only evidence is some dude woke up early and was the only person to screenshot this.
It's fucking Photoshop. I'm telling you.
Who cares if it is? Let's
So what's
talk
the
about
leak?
let's talk about
What
what if this person posted this stuff, right, and say it's fake. Would we want it to be real?
But wait,
You know?
we should
So
summarize.
let's
Talk
go
about
into those
Let's
details.
talk about the actual.
Yeah.
So the leak is
grab a
that
beer.
Destiny 2, the expansion 2, will be called Gods of Mars. The description is Destiny 2 Expansion 2 Gods of Mars sends your guardian on a long journey to a brand new destination, the frigid Vale of Mars, with an array of new missions, adventures, and enemies to fight. Charlemagne has reawoken on Mars and has imprisoned Rasputin within an ancient vault. Work with the elusive Anna Bray, long thought dead, in order to combat Charlemagne's remnants, free Rasputin, and uncover the secrets of Clovis Bay. Bray.
You almost said Crota. I was
Crota's
Bay. I want to go to Crota's Bay.
He was dead.
Crota's
Oh wait,
Bay
does
is
Crota
like-
have a bay?
Yes.
How we get to
we killed her.
So the
Crota's
features that are supposed to be in this are explore the Frigid Veil, a new destination that conceals the mysterious Clovis Grove and Charlemagne's vault beneath its surface. New story missions and adventures, new themed weapons, armor, and gear. New cooperative activities, new competitive multiplayer arenas, and new enemy faction and bosses.
It is a little generic, but these press releases can be
generic, and it pulls a lot of stuff out of like Destiny 1 lore, which I don't know if Bungie is that keen on doing.
Do you think Bife wrote it?
Could be. I think this
Bife's
is
I would not have written.
Did he
it
do the
'cause
leak?
We know
biggest
damn
troll.
well that Charlemagne's dead.
I can't keep up, man. I
don't
feel
know.
like I have to report half this stuff to my doctor. Like I have a Clovis Bray beneath the surface, so I came in to see you. Like there's remnants from Charlemagne. No.
Like you have some sort of STD.
Honestly, it sounds well written for like a little snippet on PSN store.
And it was in Japanese, seemingly.
Seemingly,
Holtzmann has some thoughts on that. Yep, there's
I was
the figure.
reading some of the Reddit threads the day this came out, and so I can't read Japanese. So there are people saying that, oh, I can read Japanese, and a lot of the stuff is, yes, this is like correct, but this one is very different from every other like Japanese store
Press
release.
release.
Yeah, so like every other one follows like the same format. This one had a lot of stuff that was different about it.
The only thing about that though is that since it is technically a leak, they might not have approved all of the different languages. You know, they might have been placeholders essentially of somebody not fully translating.
Why would they send it to the PlayStation Store if it was placeholders?
I don't know.
Was it written by PlayStation?
No, that would be written by Activision, by the way.
Yeah, like
almost certainly.
How much control do the publishers have?
They would send a.
Sorry, approved by Activision. Bungie, I think, would maybe contribute, but normally Activision's the main person, people who write that.
So why would a placeholder get sent to PlayStation to be put on the PlayStation Store this far in advance if it's not the final copy of what's actually going to be on there? Why would there need to be a placeholder on the PlayStation?
When's it supposed to come out? January, March?
Yes.
It said March.
They say March 2018 in the screenshot.
Yeah.
So conspiracy theory. What if somebody was extremely disgruntled at Activision because they've been let go during the holidays and said, screw it, I'm going to post this, bam, and then somebody else picked it up.
On my way out.
Yeah, on my way out since they got let go during Christmas.
But then PlayStation Network would still have to make it live.
Well, no, if the publisher controls it and they had the power to publish, this is complete conspiracy theory.
I think PlayStation Store controls it.
Do they?
So here's the only, having reported on a ton of news in my career, the only thing though, but it's the holidays, which makes it very unreliable.
Yeah.
The only thing is I brought up to you guys in the pre-show before we were live was Bungie or Activision has not thwarted it. So like whatever they say, they have to go by because investors are out there basing their investments on this. And so the fact that they have not said, guys, this is complete trash. It is not called Gods of Mars. We will announce it in due time. That's somewhat of a tell. Now, I'm not saying it's reliable because it's the holidays, but I think normally they would come out. Somebody at Activision or someone would be like, this is not true. We don't comment on most speculation and rumors, but
even a tweet by like a Bungie employee that just said nope.
Yeah.
I hope it's not, guys. I hope it's not for a basic reason. I think we desperately need a new race or some sort of new enemy. Yeah. And it concerns me that it says a new faction and not a new race. I
feel like that's unrealistic. I think we'll get a new race.
I don't care if it's unrealistic, Briar. That's what I want.
Yeah, it's most likely going to happen in September for like a big expansion for a new race instead of one of these like Curse of Osiris.
They'll have like a different flannel, different color flannel.
Exactly.
Flannel. A lot of people are saying they think it's I don't know why, but they were saying they think it's like a Siva type thing that's now being added to like whatever they've infested the Cabal
on the Mars at all?
So it's like
Siva is generally harnessed by the war mines. So
that's why
it was used by the war mines to create.
So it could be another outbreak of Siva.
Possible then.
Yeah, and the constructs when you're playing when you're doing the Siva, missions, it talks about how the battling against these constructs that had no end, and no worldly limits, right? They were a formidable foe, and many guardians died during fighting these constructs.
I didn't know guardians could die.
They did
until they did. I fucking hate that line.
Yes, I know. Until they did.
Until they did. The first rule of journalism: if you're saying something twice, cut off the second one or one
That's
to two.
Right. It's very redundant. I agree.
Sometimes you use redundance for importance, but I didn't know they could die, and you could let the trail off. I'm sorry.
Repetition for emphasis.
Yes.
The date and the content. Are we happy with either?
If it's true.
Ifs.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of detail in it. Like, it kind of gives you an idea of where you'll be fighting, but there's no I don't really know anything.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if it comes out in March.
Really, I did not think it's coming out in March because I'm trained on Prison of the Elders and that first year. I think we are. We think of late April or May or whatever. But when I think about it and I go back, I was like, okay, Dark Below released in December, and they thought about Destiny 2. They said, guys, we have to get it done. Well, guess what? They had to get it done. We see what happened with Curse of Osiris. I think there's genuine merit that we've got to get this done in the quarter, by the way, within the fiscal year. March is within that important quarter for reporting. I think there's a good chance it could be coming in March.
Generally,
well, wouldn't that be season 3? The beginning of season 3 as well?
Yeah,
March.
probably.
Mm-hmm. But it's quarterly as well. Yeah.
So if they're releasing new expansions with the new seasons, then
they're releasing content based on the fiscal cycle of their quarterly reports.
By the way, every major publisher does that.
So I'm just saying,
imagine that this was previously planned for March, but Bungie, due to public responses, said, "Wait a minute. If we release what we were planning on releasing in March, we're going to be in a worse spot than we are now. So let's push it to June and make some changes that will please the fans."
That doesn't work well for Activision's quarter, and they've made a commitment to the one of the main funds for the game. So I think they are. This is the thing we hear about a lot is, well, Activision made them do it, or they signed a deal with the devil. They had to. They signed certain deals. I think absolutely every publisher goes through this. By the way, like if you were at PSX, I don't know if any of you were, but you had on Sean Layden on stage and joking with Cory Barlog, the main creative director of Gears of War, or God of War, Gears of War. No, wrong. But he was joking with everybody about making a release date. There's a bit of a tell in there if you watch. Like, that's all that's on his mind, because for his bosses, the revenue you make in that quarter, targets, it is so important that you meet your targets. Like, it supersedes almost anything. And I work at a bigger company who's owned by a bigger company who's owned by an even bigger company. So I'm very familiar with this. Making those quarters are really important. So for Bungie can't just say no, we're out. Like we're going to do June. There's a ton of discussion related to it. Now I don't know what's in their contract that says they can or can't, but
here's the other thing.
There's so much pressure.
Like, I get, looking at it from the perspective of Curse of Osiris. Yeah, there's things that they could have done better, so on and so forth. But
like, why put it out?
But the big thing that's happening right now isn't the content specifically that they're releasing for that. It's the end game and the way the structures are in the game currently that they need to change to make people want to come back and grind the game. Because
it's a good point.
We've already said it many times. There is plenty to do in Destiny 2. There's just zero reason to go do Lost Sectors and Adventures and so on and so forth.
It's not about the DLC.
There was some disappointment with the content of Curse of Osiris, though, with the Infinite Forest and with the size of the Mars Patrol and with the length of the story. There was some real disappointment with the amount of content.
But I think that's
Would you prefer Dark Below instead?
I think there was some disappointment.
I feel like Dark Below is not even close to what Curse of Osiris was. But there's going to be lots of rose-colored glasses being like, Dark Below, they brought Black Hammer. You know what I mean?
The white nail perk.
Yeah.
Wait. Wasn't your point though, Tef, that it wasn't about the DLC? That it's about the end game.
It's the end game.
I think that's the silver lining.
Yeah, it's the things that they could change in the next 2 months or 3 months that might change that perspective of the new DLC as well.
Right.
Like if there's really interesting things to grind for, and they add this DLC that is more activities to do, that's going to be a win-win.
Right. Yeah. What if they bring back Trials Classic and they reduce time to kill? Doesn't have to do anything with the DLC.
It makes a big I think they can stay on track for their releases with Activision. Then as a studio, be like, okay, well, these are the things we want to change based on community feedback. So I think they could do both. They're going to have to work real hard to get all of the stuff that we're giving feedback on and push it out there.
They've got the money. So.
Yes. Thanks to Tess and her surviving the cabal.
Surviving all things.
Tess.
I mean, I haven't given her anything.
So Tess saved Destiny, is what you're saying.
No, it's both Tess and her uncle Finchurch Eververse, who sent a shipment, and then she sent it right back to me.
Has anyone renamed the game Destiny yet?
We just occurred to me. No, but we've there was a really clever one. There was Eververse, and it's like that almost sounds like avarice. We're just gonna call it that.
Okay. I'll go with that as well.
I can do
that's really that's a thinker.
Yeah. I like that one.
So we're in a position where we think that the March date is plausible, right? It's plausible based on some different factors. We're not sure if they're going to be able. They're still pumping out the content at that rate, but if they are, it would make sense it would be awesome to get new content at that time.
Here's what I expect. I expect every month leading up to March or whatever release date is for them to make quality of life and end game changes every month. Like they started with Masterworks. I expect something in January. Then I expect something in February, and I expect something in March as well. That's going to help change what this timeline of end game really is. Like they said, they're going to make prestige things more rewarding, refactor the rewards. I expect to see that. They roll back
the raids.
Yeah, I expect to see that. 100%.
That sells the DLC to be better than having all those changes after the DLC, right? Like making the promises for the DLC. If you make all these changes before the DLC, then I already know that I'm getting a better product when the DLC comes out, and I've got more faith in Bungie after the product comes out.
Eververse needs a complete refactoring. Like first off, sell dust directly. Don't make it so you have to get out by chance. If you want to buy something and you need the dust, you should be able to buy 1,000 dusts just like that.
Or get rid of the bright engrams or the engram system altogether, and just if I want to buy a specific emote, ghost, or ship, just allow me to purchase that specifically.
Yeah,
their prices are a little ridiculous right now.
They are.
It's stupid.
I mean, if you look at the Dawning, I mean, isn't there a ship on there for like 3,000?
No, the gift emote is 3,200.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, how much is that in real money?
I don't know how they come up with that, man.
If you watch Cost Gaming, it ends up being like
$10,000.
That was a fantastic video.
Yeah, that was a great video.
Cost
it goes from like about 1,000 dust is, if you're lucky, like $130 to like several $100s for 1,000 dust.
Yeah,
depending on the RNG. Yeah, if you're unlucky. Yeah. So that 3,200 dust emote is going to cost you probably on average like $10 to $50 if RNG is like kind of screwing with you.
Yeah,
that's just.
Who
comes up with the pricing, man? Like I wanted to buy it. I literally went in there and I'm like, I'm not gonna spend money on Eververse, and I'm like, well, that looks pretty cool.
You know what I did today? I logged into World of Warcraft. No way. I logged into World of Warcraft today, and you know what's really cool? Every year, 25th of December. The Great Father Winter comes, and you go to the tree in the capital city of your faction, and you pick up presents. They're free. You don't have to pay for them. Wouldn't it be great if that gift emote, the gift,
was free?
Was a gift.
Was a gift.
That would be makes sense.
I get it that there's stuff that you can earn in the game, but really nice to have a long-lasting thing from this short. Fuck it.
That's interesting. What did we get
for free?
I mean, you get all the stuff that you can get through through Dawning engrams, but you only get what?
No, what I mean for free. You just pick it up.
3 per week.
Did we get a login gift?
Or is it?
I mean, no. There's
no
honestly
daily login or nothing.
There was one RNG loot box that you got for free for logging in.
The first one.
The
first one.
where you just go to Eververse. It was the dawning, and they're like, have a free RNG thing that it's probably going to give you 30 dust.
It gave me a bunch of shaders, and I don't remember what else. I think there was a sparrow.
I have not had good luck with the gifts so far. By the way, I've gotten 2 sparrows and some shaders, and I was like,
I'd like to get that sword from the the grindable gift.
I got the sword.
I got that.
And I got the
RNG. Never.
No, I got the exotic ship. Which one is that one?
The Batarang.
It looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is.
You know
really cool.
You know what's fucked up is I'm getting so fed up with this that I'm almost at the point where even if I get this shit, I don't want to display it. I don't want to have it equipped on my character because it just makes me feel like when I stream with this stuff, I am now selling this stuff for Bungie. So I want to put on like that shitty white fucking ship, and I want to put on like the basic
tower
EDZ shell and just not involve, not associate with anything from the Eververse whatsoever. Like I'm getting so close to doing this that it's
I have to have the exotic. So Sagira shell. Got to get that, man.
Yes.
Even though it has no bearing on anything I do, because I don't.
How do you get that?
All the verses.
Right?
Yeah.
All the forge weapons, get all of them.
So if everyone has that shell, they should equip it to be like Bungie.
I'm not going to get it because there's no way I'm going to have enough time to do all the.
You can do it, Pope. Come on,
if
man.
I may, this is the right crowd. I have to ask this question. Okay, I don't understand why ghost shells are so cool because you never see them. I have to take a screenshot and send it out on Twitter. Like, don't you think it should be following over your shoulder or something in the tower? Like, it actually really bothers me.
Really cool.
Like, I get all these shells, and I'm like, I have to show people. Think about it. You never see it.
When you go to the tower, your ghost should bring your ghost follow you.
Yeah, you have to hit tab or the touchpad or whatever. But like, that's not like a persistent thing. It should like follow you around. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
It should have.
It actually just bothers me because like some people are like, I love this ghost, and I'm like, why?
I spent $200 on this ghost. I want to show it off.
I want ghost back.
You can find resources on Nest is easy.
White and green ghosts only, Briar. So if I catch you, you're busted, dude.
I spent $100 to get Ghost in Destiny 1. So I mean, I'm part of the problem.
Wait, Ghost?
Clearly.
You remember Ghost?
It was the ghost with the sheet over it. So
the Ghost. That was awesome.
Yeah. It was awesome
during the Festival of the Cost.
Yeah.
Yes. But look, I got that ghost because I did an experiment of what's the actual drop rate of all these items.
He did it for you guys.
I did it for science.
Everybody
and
watching.
that was my reward for it.
I felt bad about that you did it for me.
I felt really bad for it too. But I got my ghost.
So And to follow that idea, it would be great if each one of those ghosts, that had some hologram thing where, if it's a raid completion one, it has a number. So when you're in the tower and you've got your ghost and you're walking around, it shows that you've completed the raid or done trials X amount of times, something that you're proud of that you want to show off. Anyway, wow. So lots of great ideas. Let's
let us get in there.
They're listening.
We started off talking about the expansion. The expansion rumors. We cannot stop talking about the Eververse.
It's such a dominant topic,
podcast where we beat this horse to death.
It is.
And then keep going.
People from Bungie keep talking about Eververse, and they hadn't done that before. Chris started it, and then DMG did it as well. So I'm now just kind of waiting to see what that blog post is when they get back in the studio. I want to see what's in there. I want to see what the plans are.
How are they going to refactor Eververse? They need to do it. It is a problem in the game. There's a ton of stuff.
They need to talk about it.
They have to talk about it.
ASAP.
She's going to have a yard sale, basically. She's going to have everything discounted.
That blog, I guarantee you, is coordinated somewhat with Activision. That they know what's going out. So like, they can't just drop that bomb. Like they need to convince Activision. Like this is flying to LA, showing up in Santa Monica. I know, right? Showing up in Santa Monica and saying, guys, here's how we're changing it. We have to. Here's how we'll make it up. I don't know what that is, if they've promised some sort of revenue. But that I think is what's standing in the way. I don't think that Bungie at large likes the Eververse. I think that is a good idea that's gotten out of control. And I think the EA, the gravity of what happened with EA and Battlefront, are you kidding me? That I've been observing stuff like that for a while as part of IGN, and man, I was like, this is imploding. Like pre-orders were down, sales were down. For it to go that far,
I canceled my pre-order.
Yeah, the gamer community is like, sorry, we're done. We've had some fun, but you've gone too far. And I think Destiny's gotten that way. Like you said, it's ridiculous. Like I've spent $100 for a stupid ghost with a sheet over its head.
It's
excuse me. It wasn't stupid.
It was pretty freaking awesome.
I tell myself that every night as I go to sleep.
Exactly.
Even though I don't play D1 anymore.
Yeah,
I got upset. I got upset when my broom sparrow went away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was
remember
really
that?
cool.
Part of the things though with D1 is that we still thought that we would keep all that stuff. So we thought Ghost was going to be in our account for 10 years.
Yep.
And then they killed it.
That.
I thought that. I straight up thought, I was like, oh, I could pull out Ghost.
They said it was a commitment for 10 years
later. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I was interested in too, those collectibles. And then kicking it over like that, it devalues so much of what Tess is already selling, where it's like, why buy it when it's going to go away in 3 years?
It's really stupid. Like, you know how fast it would be to add that ghost back in the game. Like, I guarantee you on that front. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a coder, but adding a model into your game that already exists is super easy. And I agree with you. Like, I look at that stuff where you spent money and now they took it away from you from D1 player. It's such a mistake. Like, you're right. I think they cross-account that stuff, bring it back. And then likewise, I think it's been a big mistake for the players where we said, hey, we're going to honor you for playing the alpha, for playing Vault, for whatever. And all we got was some emblems.
Oh,
like, dude,
whoa,
I want to walk around. What?
There was as much as I do agree with that. Like I want a statue of myself in the tower. Please, okay, thanks. But the cutscene that they did was really nice.
That was pretty dope.
If you played the opening cutscene that showed.
Okay.
But he's talking about
totally going to show off my opening cutscene to everybody in the tower.
I know.
Totally.
I want a goddamn statue in the tower. Fuck the traveler.
Yes.
I want a monolithic statue of me and my throwing knife.
Yes.
With the number of displayed kills that I had in the Crucible. That's what I want in the tower.
When I'm loading into a game, when I'm walking around the tower, I want people to know that I was there. And I'm not going to drop this topic. I brought it up on a recent Fireteam chat. Honestly, like I almost want to start a petition where like, you totally did not deliver. You told me, wait, guys, it's a secret. We can't tell you. And then like it was like emblems. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to wear like an alpha emblem. It does nothing for me. We need stuff like the auras, like something. Emblems. Okay, I take that back. When I'm loading in, you do know. But it's not enough. I want you to see me in game and be like, that dude was in the alpha.
It would do so much more with the auras as well, right? Like there's hardly any auras.
Yeah,
like
just make a color aura, green aura. You were in the alpha. Solved.
There you go. Easy.
Right? Not that hard. Please, Bungie, clip it, send it.
I'd rock that.
When I post on Reddit that I've been playing since the alpha, and you should listen to me because of that. I need proof in game.
Yeah. Nobody wants to watch me, and all I need is the aura, man.
The biggest thing in the game for me, there's no cloaks that even come close to the Dead Zone Revolution.
The Dead Zone Revolution.
You guys get on my same. Please just agree with me.
I'm trying to remember what that looks like.
I mean, I want my kitty cape back.
It's not that special, Fran. It's
not a kitty cape.
He's the kind of guy that gets stuck on like that one pair, like that one
with the antler horns,
college or
yes,
something.
That's it.
And he just wears it forever and ever and ever and ever. And
it's okay.
Look, I had a shirt.
Looks like a fat moose.
I mean, look, even fat moose can be graceful.
He's like an allergic reaction. He's all messed up.
You know what I do miss? I miss Trowel's armor being goddamn beautiful.
Trowel's armor.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. All of it was just like, oh, this looks so good.
I actually like some of the new Trowel's armor, but I know what you mean.
The ornaments are actually
classic
cool.
The ornaments are pretty good.
Yeah.
The cape for Hunter, I'm just like,
ooh, that's what
makes my head look.
I don't like
the
helmet on Hunter at all.
I mean, I'm all for Titans being like broad-shouldered, but like the 80s called and they want their shoulder pads back. I mean,
it's a little overboard.
It's like
with the shoulders for Titans.
It's like you're wearing two. two like boom boxes on your shoulders.
Briar's got me.
Look, the important thing to note is that they probably heard our complaints, and there will be an aura added to the Eververse that if you spend over $200, you get a permanent aura.
Permanent, you cannot remove it, aura. Always,
always there.
Oh, God.
What do you guys think of the hashtag remove Eververse, which is gaining traction? We did Fire Team Chat about a week and a half ago or whatever, and all of a sudden, I mean, it was coming, but all of a sudden that gained traction, and everybody was tweeting at me. Is that you, Briar?
Thanks, Briar.
I didn't start that. I think it's a reaction to the Battlefront stuff, like you mentioned before. Is just people are fucking fed up, man, and Tess is an easy symbol to target out for this huge problem.
Lights are on.
There's literally a character in Destiny that represents these microtransactions. It's so easy to target her.
Holy shit, Rahul isn't public enemy number 1 anymore.
I know.
I still remember your fucking name, Rahul.
I'm
still coming for
I'm
you.
pretty sure he's a secret backer to Tess. If you need first seed funding, it definitely came from Rahul.
Yeah,
it's possible.
100%.
No, I think it's good that people are galvanizing and using their voice to get the word out there. Yeah. What I have seen though is just it's some abuses of it, just where somebody's talking about their kid, and somebody will reply
fix your fucking game.
And they'll post remove Eververse, hashtag. It's just it doesn't need to be everywhere. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It doesn't need to be belligerent.
Right.
I saw Tomo, Watts' husband, really excited about building the Lego Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking awesome. I want one. And there are people that are attacking him on Twitter. It's like, oh man, if you build Destiny, I bet you can't build that. It's fuck you, dude.
I mean,
it's
Pete Parsons puts out a pre-Christmas peace, love,
Yeah.
And then some guy replies to it just fix your fucking game or ban Eververse and I mean it's just
got time to tweet, but you don't have time to completely reshape your end game and fix Eververse?
What are you doing on Twitter? Why are you here? You should be.
I get it. I get the community ire and anger right now, but and I support that us getting together and having a united voice, and I love that.
Yeah,
I love that idea. I just I'm a little embarrassed by some of the way that the community are choosing to express themselves and using it in inappropriate times.
Exactly.
A moderate voice was also used when we were first talking about Eververse. That was not listened to. The Eververse continued to get worse and worse and worse. A moderate voice was clearly not heard. A louder voice is now needed.
Well, I think what's happened is we never got to this point, obviously, with them in the development.
We saw it coming, right? Every time. We're like, well, okay.
To this
slippery
degree,
slope, but good God, they're really pushing this Eververse thing.
I'll be honest, I never saw them taking the things that we earned in D1 and putting them into Eververse and making that the main focus. I never saw that happening. I think this was them saying, let's try this. And it backfired horribly, and the community is very confused that they would even go this direction. And I think now they have to respond and be like, okay, we know where the line is. Let's fix this. Because if they don't, their core player base is just going to evaporate. This is what's going to happen.
I mean, I feel like they there's the line, right, Tefty?
Yeah.
You said they know where the line is. They just obliterated it. They
definitely jumped over
way over it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were taking these small steps, right? And like Briar was saying earlier back in D1, I remember him talking about it, and I remember him giving him shit for it, saying, "Come on, Briar, they're not." He's like, "No, this is a slippery slope." He's been preaching that ever since the beginning, and I didn't realize that it was like that lobster in the pot of hot boiling water that's slowly turning up the temperature, and the water gets hotter and hotter. What I think is that what happened is they got greedy and they flipped the temperature up too high too quickly.
Well, if you're cooking a lobster, you want to put it in while the water's already boiling, because then it's like instantaneous for death.
Is it a Maine lobster or is it a Florida lobster?
Right. It doesn't really matter about the lobster or any species.
Oh, it matters.
Any type of species of crustacean, you want to put it in while the water's already boiling.
Everyone's gone now.
Didn't you try to cook ramen in like a super tiny pot? Like, I don't know if we should take like tips.
Oh my god, I love cooking ramen in a tiny pot, because then like you get to you put less water in.
Can't have nice things, Briar. Can't have nice things.
I'm just saying. You couldn't fit
all
a
I'm
lobster in
saying
there. I don't
is
trust
that
you.
they done fucked up, and they pushed the limit too far, too fast. And then this is what they deserve what they're getting right now, because I think that they went too far, right?
Yeah, they did.
And they made a calculated risk. It is a definite calculated risk. They were trying to do something with the game, and I think they misread it. They screwed up.
They really misread it.
Now they're correcting it. And the correction of it is having to relook and do some work.
They got to make some huge corrections. Like, they can't just be a little bit here and there. Like, it's got to be, here's a step one that makes changes, real changes, and then here's a plan for the next steps. And they got to equate to getting to the next DLC that is a big change. Like, it has to, it can't have the same type of thing going in there. Like, when I think about Eververse, I never thought about all these things that I want to earn in the end game all being in the Eververse system. Emotes were okay. Right. Holiday armor was okay for me. I was like, okay, sure, you gotta, have a dawning type of event armor, like that's okay. But again, emotes, I expected that. When all of the sparrows and the ghosts and shaders are all coming out of an Eververse system, and then you do the math like Cost Gaming did, and you see how much XP is actually required to get all that stuff if you want to earn it. So calculated.
It's actually impossible.
It's impossible. It's 100% calculated that you would have to spend money.
It's that's the part that hurts me the most, is like I really want to get, like, during the dawning, I want to be able to play and get the gear, and there is zero chance I'm gonna get the gear for my. I've missed out on so much stuff already. I've missed out on the armor for Iron Banner on several of my characters. I've missed out on a ton of really cool looking armor because I can't play and get it. It's locked behind this RNG that just and or you can buy it, and it just, I don't know, man, pisses me off. Yeah, they just push too far, I think.
Yeah. Also, the whole collection game is essentially gone now because there's no room to collect all this. Even if you did want to spend the money and collect everything in Eververse, you literally do not have the space to hold it all.
Nope. And there's no
Don't start on the vault, man. I can't handle it right now.
It's like flashbacks. I seriously have PTSD when we start talking about vault.
Yeah, it's the same.
No, I have. The only thing I have PTSD from is from Briar every single week, like incorporating a vault question into the podcast because we need to increase it.
I don't even talk about it because I'm still in fucking shock that we're in this situation in Destiny 2. Like, it's baffling.
They fixed it in D1. They had kiosks. It made sense.
They never fixed it. They made some improvements.
There was definite improvements. So, you had the emblem kiosk, you had the shader kiosk, you had the exotic kiosk. There was all kinds of things that could take out of your inventory and then put it, or just know that it's in the kiosk. Even these the seasonal items, they were in the kiosk. You could go get your ghost out of the kiosk because you spent money on it. And there is none of that in D2.
I don't know why that is not in D2. Like, why could you not put kiosks in?
Did they just run out of development time? Like, is it that simple? Like, they didn't have time to put it all in?
The point is, I now have a playset of Underground Seas, and that opens up a lot of deck choices in Magic the Gathering for me.
Patrick's drunk. Okay. Take the mic away from him.
All right.
Is it time for Twitter questions?
It is time. It's 7:30.
It's we're 1 hour and 13 seconds into the current recording, and we recorded for about 4 minutes before.
He sounds like Darth Vader when he talks into that beer.
Yeah, you should do that for the rest of the podcast. Oh, God.
I have no idea how loud that was. Sorry.
Your Twitter questions are whatever.
All right. First question. Jogging zombies. Oh, my God. Fran, we got so many questions.
Oh, my God.
So many questions about your hair.
Okay.
So I'm only going to ask one.
Okay, good.
What hair product did Fran Mirabella use, and does he blow dry?
Yes, to the latter part of the question. Of course you blow dry. What are you talking about?
Of course.
And the first part of the question is I use Orbe products. Look it up.
Orbe.
Yeah.
Is that spelled with an accent?
Is it like a gel, a mousse,
Oribe?
a hairspray?
Oh, I use a combination of things. Today I used sort of a mousse blowout, and then I did a little texturizing spray.
What's a mousse blowout?
I know that. I know that.
What does that mean?
It's when you go
you don't
really
want to
fast
see a
with your
mousse
car
blowout.
and not brake in Canada, and it just whole
It's like the
mousse just everywhere.
Logos on the bottle. It's a fat mousse. And you put fat dead zone solution mousse in your hair.
Oribe, award-winning professional hair care products.
Award-winning, nice.
Not Ooh, first to know. To access your website, I have to sign up for a newsletter.
Damn.
Immediately hitting the back button.
Well, I have the it's a heat protectant and hairspray in one. So then when you're doing the styling, it keeps it healthy while also keeping it intact.
Nice.
You do need heat protection. Yeah. Got a little oil in there maybe.
I'm a big fan of when I get out of the shower, I always do a little blow dry on the beard. I'm not joking either, because it takes a while.
Make
to
it
dry
fluffy.
this.
Oh, I bet it does.
It takes a while. I mean, when you got
beards are way harder to dry than
I don't want like a bunch of water sitting in there. No, you got to blow it out a little bit. Get it
TLC.
Yeah, TLC.
You condition it.
Tefty.
Yeah, for sure.
We at GuardianCon, we are going to have a little competition.
I'm not shaving my beard.
No, we're not shaving. Just listen. We're going to do a little at our booth. We're going to have a little competition between, whoever wants to join us in the Destiny community of the content creators. And we're going to have a bowl of water and then another bowl of water. And you're going to dip your beard in. And in one dip, how much you can bring over to the other one.
Oh.
You squeeze it out.
True competition. Right?
So,
beard offs.
And we're going to have a beard off.
RNG beard competition. Wow.
This is going to be a little I have a feeling that even though my beard is not as lengthy as yours, mine may have the staying power to.
He's going to hide some sponges inside his beard. He cheated last time. I know he'll cheat.
During that whole thing, I was thinking of Winona Ryder's reaction during the speech. Speech.
I was thinking that one with the GIF and the pizza flying around. It's fantastic. It's the best one ever.
That one's also good.
CJ Gibson says, does Fran think Kylo Ren would be a good boss? Asking for a friend.
CJ Gibson works at IGN, and he calls me Kylo Ren as a boss. He says that I come over and I intimidate people, and I use my force powers to throw them into like an air conditioner. Apparently, that's not true, but I don't know. I guess I'm an inquisitive boss. Yeah, they're up in the ceiling.
Okay,
we do because it gets warm in there. We got a studio too, so you got to keep it.
There's lots of computers.
Yeah.
So if you ever watch, have you watched Dark Killer Base, the Saturday Night Live? What is it? The Boss reality show? So there's a reality show. God, what is it called?
Oh, the one, the Secret Boss? Secret Boss?
Yeah, Secret Boss. Or whatever.
Secret Boss is awesome.
So they had Star Killer Base where Kylo Ren shows up as like the boss of all the stormtroopers and people on the ship, and like they all obviously know it's him. It is a hilarious skit. Watch it.
Oh, that is funny. I've seen it.
He says that's how I am at work. He says that's what I'm like. So yeah, Tef's like, okay.
Serious question about IGN. Like,
sure.
So
undercover boss. That's it.
Yeah, undercover boss. The chat is very much correcting us right now. So, like, if I were to have a job at IGN and I was just sitting there playing a video game, at my desk, could I just do that all day and then like no one would think the wiser? Probably.
As long as you're like reviewing it or previewing it. So it's like if you're on deadline to write about it or do a video script or whatever, then like yeah, of course. I mean, we walk around IGN all the time. People are playing games. So
So what you're saying is that if you were playing it all day, you better hit your goal or deadline for the write-up of whenever that is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a better way to put it would be you can't just like play games for 360 or 300 some odd days a year, because at some point you've got to write something and put up for it. As long as you're doing that, nobody's going to be like, hey, why are you playing Fortnite? And you're like, I'm
doing a review on it.
Exactly.
It's a review in progress. I have to update it every week.
I got to see what happens after 1,000 hours in the game. God.
Exactly. I want to make sure at 1,000 hours you're still good. But in general, like at IGN, your bosses sit around you. So like everybody knows what everybody's doing. So So I never get to play games is the answer.
When I walked around IGN offices, the most impressive thing is there's actually a makeup room.
It's a great room, yeah.
Only for Fran. It's Fran's personal makeup room. It's got like it says has a little plaque there. It says Fran's makeup.
Does it have like the gold star on it?
It does. And you walk in and there's like you sit down at the booth and then they have the lights, around the mirror and everything. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. It's very wonderful. That's the most impressive part.
All my products. Yeah.
It's all the best products.
Only Tiggy asked this to Fran, but I think this would be a good one to ask everybody is, my one question for the podcast is, why do we play? What element lies within Destiny 2 that keeps gamers like us watching the FTC podcast, watching your stream, keeping us with Destiny subreddit, hoping this thing turns around?
I would say it's an amazing world to still be a part of, even though there's a lot of turmoil right now.
That's true.
It's an interesting fantasy world, and new things that come to it and change it make new interesting things. And it's still a very unique game that I don't think you can actually find a Destiny similar type of game right now out there.
Something else I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get pieces of it in other places. Like if you want to raid, you can get raids in other places, but you can't do it with a first-person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
You can get loot in first-person shooter in other games, but you can't get raids and you can't get the whole package from one other place right now, and that might change in the future.
Yeah, the space magic and first person shooter weapon play, I don't think there's any game right now that can actually challenge it. And Borderlands 2 is a possibility, but it's not like it's an old game at this point.
Bungie's gunplay, they know how to make a shooter. They know how to make shooting things feel nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy that from Destiny. I don't really get that experience from any other game. There can be games that do many other things better, but I don't get that from other games.
Well, for me, I feel like I played a lot of Halo and a lot of Call of Duty, and nothing really set its teeth into me like Destiny because of to me, I'm a social person and I want to be around other people and play. The community is really why I kept coming back. The friends that I played with, the people that I would get together, and the way that I could jump in and play some strikes or, do some daily bounties and things with friends and play Crucible. There was a lot of different activities and I could go and play with the same friends. And so clans, friends, that's what keeps me hoping that this is going to get turned around, because they're more than me than just the game,
Yeah. I'll make the same joke again. Oh, great raid, guys. Now let's all go play the Crucible. Oh, wait.
No.
Yeah, that is pretty annoying. Even like going to do patrols, right? You can't go to Crucible and then go do a patrol because you have to drop somebody.
I thought that was a no-brainer for Destiny 2. I thought for sure we were going to get 6-man patrols. Like, I absolutely was positive.
Yep.
Yeah.
My reason for playing is that we are the spark that will light the fire that will burn down the Eververse or something.
I thought we were going with spark
first order or whatever.
Spark the spark with the revolution or something.
Yeah.
Once more into the breach.
Yeah.
Guys, what if
it's the last good fight I've ever known? Live and found this day. Live and found this day.
What if Borderlands 3 comes out in 2018?
And what if it's awesome?
I don't think
it's going to happen. But
it will not happen. I guarantee it will.
And what if it's awesome?
Well,
what if it did?
If it's awesome, I'll play it.
I would be blown away if they screwed up Borderlands 3.
You would be?
I'd be blown away.
Just if it came out.
If it came out in 2018,
you'd be surprised.
I'd be amazed.
Because it'll come out in 2019, I think.
You think it's going to be 2019?
I think a possibility, yeah.
Yeah?
Because GDC engine demo this year, right?
Yes.
So
that was in March.
At that point, they're kind of working out engines. Well, it could be 2020, but...
Are they not using Unreal? They've used Unreal for the first ones.
I don't know if they used Unreal. Good point. But they released graphics engine stuff. Okay. It's still demonstrating what they're doing with it. But yeah, I don't... as someone who's a huge fan of Bungie games, and I've actually only played a little Borderlands because I didn't have time, I definitely get the loot factor, but there's something about Bungie games, like you were saying, Watts, like the feel of it. Bungie's got that on lockdown. That's what we like about Bungie games, man. The polish that is there, the soundtrack, the sound effects, all that stuff. When you rock a super, it's awesome. I mean, like looking at a Titan Striker super is one really awesome. Like if you look at the detail that is in Destiny 2 versus Destiny 1, it's awesome. So we all love that. They're just in this really rough spot where it's like the end game's not there. I think that's what's interesting about it is we were playing a game we were all okay with. So they actually had a formula we were okay with. Yeah. So we're now caught in this world where it's like appease them as well as whatever their new goals are, which we don't understand. That's the thing I wish they would speak out on. Where it's like, we were trying to bring more players to the game. We did. We've got 40% more players that are logging in every month. Like, tell me what it is you've accomplished so I can understand the trade-offs you've made. But that's not going to make me feel better about the trade-offs you made, but at least I would understand a bit more, and then where's it headed, you know?
Right.
But that's where we're at. We're flying blind, you know? I don't really know the successes. Like, they changed stuff with Destiny 2, right? Does anyone here understand the success of the changes? I sure don't.
No.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't help at all.
Also, you know? If you look at player population,
seems arbitrary.
If you look at player population for the
looks
Crucible,
worse.
It is. It's in a
like
very poor state.
Painfully low.
Yeah, it's like I think it's worse than that one time that they did Spooky Trials,
Mayhem Inferno.
I personally enjoyed Spooky Trials.
Yeah, Inferno.
I like
Trials.
Spooky Trials.
Yeah, but it had dropped down to like a couple 100,000, like 250,000, and that's on 2 platforms, and it's like at 200,000 on 3 platforms. So
it's bad. It's real bad. It's lower than it was at the end of Destiny 1, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Destiny 1 was 300 to 400, and then a little bit higher when Trials came out.
Yeah.
But I keep wondering.
Their PvE numbers are still healthy.
Yeah.
You know, it's still peaks at higher than D1 at the
PvE has always been the activity that's had the most players in Destiny. As much as we always talk about PvP this, PvP that, that is the kind of lower population, but it feels like it's really low. To actually answer the question of what keeps me playing, friends, as far as reasons to play the game for the game itself, if it wasn't for the social aspects of the friends that I already have, there wouldn't be much leading me back to it, which has been nice because I've been able to actually kind of go play other things that I've been meaning to play for the past year, like
I've been
Magic the Gathering.
I will say the friendships that I've formed in Destiny have translated to other games. Like I play PUBG today with my Destiny friends. I play Fortnite with my Destiny friends. Like those friendships are strong enough that they are transferring between games, which is great.
What I'd love to see is the support that Destiny content creators are getting with other Destiny content creators when they go to other games. You know, they're streaming together. They're it's like they're going out into the world, into these other games where maybe they're not known, and they're doing it together and making a name for themselves. And I really am. I don't know. I feel like a sense of pride to see Destiny content creators getting big, you know, getting popular and getting into a larger audience. And I'm really happy for them.
Yeah.
You know, it's good stuff.
Alex D says, what is a storyline that you would like to see become a DLC in the future? I personally want to know about the Stranger.
I got mine.
See it.
Crota. I want to know what her backstory is, because we only see her kind of on the other side where she's already kind of meaning developed or whatever. So I guess her stuff might be more prequel. But I like Crota. Pope is cringing. He's like, really? He's like wincing. I wonder why. Jeez, man.
Just not Hive, the Taken.
You're not a fan, really?
Well, I feel like we've
got enough of that.
Well, yeah, I want to get into. I
meant Eris, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I figured you meant Eris.
That's also. Why don't you? You should have said so. Well, you're being very nice about it.
I didn't know Crota was a girl. I was just kind of.
I was like,
time out.
Oh, snap.
Rewind. I meant Eris. I don't care about Crota.
I was bringing you back around.
Crota?
Yeah.
Okay. I was bringing.
Does that change your opinion at all if it's Eris?
No, yeah, I like Eris. Yeah. I like Morla as an actress for Eris. I think we need to have her back. I'm like, there's a line from Cade Six in Destiny 2 where he's talking about it's in one of the strikes and he goes, man, I miss Eris, and he just says that like randomly in one of the strikes, and I feel the same way. We need to have that sort of moody sister, hanging around making. But yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'd like them to go deep into the darkness in the birth of the beginning of the child that became known as Tess Eververse. Let's have that story.
Tessiverse.
It was a dark and stormy night.
The darkness.
They are taken.
I think for me is two. I'd really like to know about the Awoken and kind of go into like what they're all about, because some stuff went down, like some serious stuff happened with the Awoken. And another one would be, what the hell was Aphrodite doing? I want to know where she's been at. Yeah. She's been flying around the world spreading peace and love. She had
such a sassy stance in that one cutscene. I want to know more about her.
Yeah, I want to know Aphrodite was here and now she's gone. I want to know what's going on with Aphrodite.
I second the Awoken. I would really like to hear the backstory of our races, of the Awoken and the Exo. I think it would be phenomenal to. I mean, I thought we were going to get more information on them with the Vex themed expansion. I thought that we would get to hear more about the Exo, but anyway, the Woken, yes, for sure. I would love to know more about the Queen. Yeah, and the magic that is the Awoken, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
There's this whole thing that we talk about science and technology in the Vex, and the magic of the Hive, and the dark magic. But then I'd like to hear about the magic of Marsoth and how she was able to do that stuff. So.
Guys, I'd really like to know what the curse of Osiris was. I mean, that'd be a great story.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Dig into that one.
I know that Luke Smith kind of indicated that we wouldn't be getting this, but I'd really like to know what the darkness is. Like, how does it relate to the races that are here in our universe?
Yeah, go back to the beginning of the darkness.
I mean, it was one of the coolest aspects of Destiny 1 was just that there was this nebulous darkness that maybe was some kind of unseen force, like with its fingers controlling the puppets of the other races. And I would like to see that make a return. That was a cool concept. There's no reason it had to go away. And I'd really like for Bungie to explore that.
Yeah.
We do. Do you think that they're going to get into that with the ominous triangles of doom?
The pyramid?
Pyramids of Doom?
Space.
I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do with the story.
Well, I don't know what
I used to imagine that there was some kind of like, Bible, like story Bible that was kind of pre-written, and they had like this kind of storyline that was going to last 10 years. I'm no longer under that impression.
Like it was like old leather. Maybe it had been unearthed from some sort of excavation.
They had the story plotted out. Yeah. And they had the lore. Like
Patrick
the
has
lore
it. He
was
stole
written.
it. That's why it's.
This is filled with magic cards. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I feel you on that, Briar. I felt that way through like
Grimoire cards.
All of Destiny 1. I felt that way, and now what they did with Destiny 2, I'm kind of like,
Maybe they didn't plan this out.
By the way, the
getting a Star Wars episode 1 through 3 vibe here.
Is this what it's like to build a plane as you're flying it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The smell of leather and magic cards is really nice.
I noticed that. You were really into it.
We should bottle that, man.
Keep both hands above the table, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Are we high school bus rules now?
Keep your hands off the leather, man.
Hands off the leather.
Start like a separate Magic the Gathering podcast so you can just get this out of your system, man.
I tried to start with
Magic the Gathering,
but
and we don't fucking care about it. So this is not the place.
That is.
Why do you think I bring it up
true,
everywhere? Because it pains so much.
You could just play on stream like this.
It's not true, Patrick. It's because Magic is important to you. It's important to me as well.
Oh,
true friendship.
I told you I'm a Spellfire boy.
I could,
which is deceased, unfortunately.
Corey Crutchfield says, with all the controversial topics about Destiny 2 recently, what is your favorite thing about the game currently?
Favorite thing about the game right now, currently?
Midnight Coup.
Mayhem.
The raids.
Midnight Coup and the fact that everybody doesn't know what it is because they're like, what gun is that?
Midnight Coup is good. So good.
I love it.
It is a great gun. The reload is sick.
Great
hand cannon.
Rampage.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Got a good
if I can get
sound.
that master. Oh, I have a question. If you get Midnight Coup, so the raid hand cannon as a masterwork with reload, does it reload even faster?
I currently have it as reload, and it feels faster.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. I would imagine it does, but it probably just like instant.
Oh,
like,
it's fantastic.
Must be sick.
Also, Ophidian
That's
aspects.
And you have Ophidian aspects on.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Can't believe you're a warlock, man.
Me too. I never
What
thought.
happened
Like,
to you?
fast forward 3 years, I'd
I've
have been
always
like,
been a
good
warlock,
God, Teft.
Tefty, I'm right now almost solely playing my warlock.
Because
I'm thinking of deleting my warlock to make
Because you're glitching.
Good.
I'm thinking about deleting my hunter so I can uncheck that stupid 6-shooter. God, that pisses me off.
But it's fine now.
No, it adds an unusual amount of bloom. It's super annoying. I'm dead serious. There's like the precision thing that makes it more accurate. So from a distance, you can actually get some decent like distance shots. And then you put that 6-shooter on there. I've had more golden gun shots go through people that shouldn't definitely not going through them with 6-shooter than I had when it was 3 shots.
I think you just need to get good.
Somebody was literally
You need to
standing.
aggressively be
They were
using that
AFK.
6-shooter, Tefty.
I put the icon on them. The bullet went through them. I was like, this is unbelievable.
Sounds like a case of get good.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sounds like
Sounds
you
like
should
you
just
need to
be a
practice.
nice dog.
I think I need to practice.
You need to practice shooting those targets that don't
No,
move.
I'm actually thinking I'm going to pick up a card game, Magic the Gathering. I don't know.
Yeah,
Dude, we should all play on
Maybe.
stream.
Yeah.
I haven't
Jostle
played
Porden
those games
says,
a prior with reasoning. He's like, I'm back.
do you think the second raid lair will be released before the expansion?
No.
So we have something to get us there.
No.
No, it's going to be released with the
Interesting
expansion.
question. Not a chance in.
That is a really good no.
But I am actually excited for the raid lair because this raid lair was beautiful and super fun.
The
So
boss, so much fun.
Yeah.
Argon?
good.
Argos, yeah. He's amazing.
Argos
Yes.
from
Argon's a
England.
gas, I believe.
He's a
Isn't-
catalog store
Argon
in
is a
England.
gas. There's a great joke actually. So the noble gas Argon walks into a bar and says, I'd like to order a drink, and the bartender says, get out here, we don't serve noble gases. And Argon has no reaction.
Wow.
Wow.
Jokes.
Chemistry
I love you,
nerds. My God.
Holtzmann, I love you.
Yeah.
Isn't Argon like a Lord of the Rings character also?
Aragorn, motherfucker.
There it is.
Oh my
Wow. Wow, the disdain.
Nice work, Tefty.
Oh,
Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get Holtzmann on tilt with.
Ooh, how many more buttons can
Is
we
it
put?
Viggo Mortensen on the elemental table? I swear that I saw him.
I think we're
Picture
pretty
of
close to a Patrick rant. Keep going, guys.
Would you guys keep an opening hand of Lotus Petal, Jataxian Probe, Cabal Therapy, 2 Cabal Rituals, Lion's Eye Diamond, and
Patrick
Orange?
Kelly
Lotus.
says,
I'm gonna go Lotus.
Oh my goodness.
It's in the opening hand.
I saw an
really
article
has
where
a
the
magic problem.
World Health Organization claims that heavy gaming is a mental disorder
I saw this.
that will be on the same plane as depression or other mental illnesses. Thoughts?
I mean, might as well
I-
add it to the long list of things that's wrong with me. So
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
that
sure, let's go with it.
Anything that can get a gamer to go on disability is a plus.
Oh, yeah, there
I
you go.
think
Wow.
that I think that the 2 things listed with that. Wait, what was it? Depression and what?
and mental illnesses. Other
I think that those 2 things, gaming helps with that.
Yeah.
If you do it right in moderation, it is something that helps you, and it's the
What's
opposite.
that word?
But they're
And
not
Twitch.
talking about moderation though.
No, they're
They're
talking about
talking.
addiction.
If you read
It's
the
like
description
gambling.
of
Gambling is an addiction.
it's like less than 1% of the population. You have to be like leaving your children to starve to death to play WoW.
The Sims, probably.
Oh, shit.
While you
Guys,
take
I'll be
care of
right
your
back.
fake family.
yeah,
So, like,
it is.
basically almost failing out of high school and college due to World of Warcraft.
There are some people that would argue
that's called
you
being
have an
stupid.
addiction.
That's yeah, but
actually,
that's like, that you know that happens in like alcoholism and gambling addiction and so on and so forth. Like, the extreme cases are you have an addictive personality that is not allowing to do life correctly, and that's not a gaming problem. That's like
is heavy gaming.
You'll find that thing that'll take up that time for you.
Disorder?
Yeah, exactly. If it's not gaming, it will be something else. It'll be
something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I actually think it's a good thing because normally, if it's recognized, I assume there's some treatment help for it, and so that's part of the good side of it. And we actually if you haven't heard of this, there's people who are playing a lot of like mobile games where you're like buying microtransactions, stuff like that, where they were locking themselves in their homes and apartments and not feeding themselves and things like you're talking about just to like participate in games. So I think that's the level they're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good thing.
And I'm going to say that in high school, like in my job, I see a lot of kids that are being affected by, we have a support groups for kids that are playing. There's some League of Legends players, and like there's crazy like interventions that need to happen with some kids that are just ignoring all aspects of their life, and playing. And I don't think that is really they're talking. They're not talking about the average gamer. They're talking about some outlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Nade says, if there were more Destiny-like games out there, would all this even be a problem? Destiny is a niche that hardly has any competition. What and how could you see other games like it make it better or worse? And we kind of talked about this earlier.
Yeah, but I think that that's the point right now, is that there isn't really a true Destiny competition. And I think it's coming. I really feel like there's been a couple studios that have been trying to crack.
Do you think Anthem is going to do it?
No, I don't think so.
No,
because it's going to be
too early to say.
It is too early to say, but I don't think the type of thing that it's presenting is
also EA.
So there's that too.
Never mind.
But they're like built in mech suits, and it's third person. There's some very specific things that Borderlands and Destiny does as a looter FPS that is
FPS shooter.
Yeah, an FPS, a looter FPS is very specific, and Destiny does a great job, but doesn't hit all the marks. And it's
a bigger, tougher thing to build, more expensive thing to build than like a Player Unknown's like kind of
for sure
rip off, right? It's such a huge thing that it's going to take years for these things to come out if they are being developed, which I assume they are.
They got to be. I mean, there's got to be some companies that are like, if we just get the loot distribution and variety of Borderlands mixed in with the depth of modding of Warframe mixed in with the gunplay of Destiny, you're going to have something that's going to print money like World of Warcraft.
Let me ask you, if The Division came out when it originally came out in its current state, but a while back, instead of screwing up, do you think they would have had a shot?
It's third person. It's always in New York, and there's no space magic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very
I don't think it's
type of a feel.
All right.
Yeah. Fran, have you heard anything that could be Destiny competition that you can talk about?
No. I mean, other than honestly, currently Warframe is definitely, I think, taking some players away in terms of the same style. It's funny how many people went to Fortnite on the competitive side. I think when you look at Crucible, guess where they are? PUBG or Fortnite, probably. But from or COD. Yeah. I mean, the end of the year has been great. There's been so much to play as well. So we'll see how the new year resets. But other than that, I think Anthem is the one that I hear the most, and I see it in IGN's comments all the time. It's like people are saying, Anthem is the one, but it's like way too early.
Yeah, we don't know enough about it.
Honestly,
you still think that's coming out in 2018, or do we think that's coming out in 2018?
I don't think they said that, did they? No,
I don't know.
They never. No, they never.
Everybody just
I don't think they said that.
I thought it was on their Twitter account.
No way.
Their Twitter account, it was like fall 2018.
No way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they really?
Okay. When I first heard about the game, it said spring 2018, and then the day later they changed it to fall 2018 on the Twitter head profile.
Oh, interesting.
Right. It is set for the wow. They did announce that? No freaking way. I didn't know that, but I don't believe that.
I was shocked too when I saw that.
And Division was supposed to come out when Destiny came out.
Destiny was supposed to come out a year before
Destiny was supposed to come out a year before that.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 was supposed to come out a year before.
Let's see what IGN has to say about it.
Oh, Jesus. What's the site for that? What's the web address? Because I still
never heard of IGN.
Yeah, where do I go? Where do I go for IGN.com news?
I don't know how to spell it. Man, I was trying to look up the original release date announcement. I didn't think it was 2018 because I was sitting at the press conference when it was announced, and I don't recall them announcing a release date. So I'm pretty sure it's 2019.
How likely are they going to hit? Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's kind of like Red Dead Redemption coming out, a month ago when it was scheduled.
It does say that they've been planning the game since at least 2014, though. So, but that doesn't mean a lot.
So they played Destiny and said we could do better.
They saw
immediately. We're like,
that looks good.
Destiny Destiny's probably done a really good job of inspiring a lot of studios.
Oh, has to,
or scaring them off.
I guess
we don't want to deal with this type of community. It's too
actually. Interesting. I'm reading a quote on IGN right now that back in June of 2014, they said, while Montreal Studio is working on the next Mass Effect game, which we know how that turned out, our team here in Edmonton is developing a completely new IP, said Casey Hudson. So, yeah, they have been working on it since 2014. So 2019 sounds more likely. 5 years for a new IP. That's what I think.
So is it Blindy says, what would you do to build upon Masterworks to increase player engagement if it were up to you?
Sell them at Eververse.
Jeez, Jeff.
I would.
Shame.
The internet's crashing. Wait, there's.
I would make some PvE type, fun, more variety, and make them more interesting than just minute stat boosts.
Yeah, and change the make orbs thing. Like have one that makes orbs, and then have like another series of Masterworks that do other things.
I love the idea of shooting. If you kill an enemy with a red bar health enemy, kill them with a headshot. They'll turn them into the friends from D1, where you could turn the enemy into be an ally, like stuff like that. I mean, get some really interesting.
God, I forgot about all those.
Yeah. Do you remember how much fun that was? You could get like, what was your two favorite ogres to fight each other? The two ogres to go after each other.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say split the Masterworks between PvE and PvP and like delve really in depth of what's going to be good for PvE. You can go crazy with that, and what's going to be good for PvP. What are they going to be interested in? Give us more perks and stuff, and I would say get special Masterworks from Raid and Trials, and then Prestige Raid and Nightfall to give us some prestige for our weapon, right? Like, and have it help us in that.
Because like right now, if you get perks on Reload and Impact and that, what would that be? Maybe.
So the way I see it is
like if you get a raid only, I guess it's like maybe you can only get the Midnight Coup Masterwork by doing the raid. Well, actually, wait, that is. Oh no, you can get it from Clan Engram.
I guess you could.
You know what I mean?
You could basically give the weapons and the armor, the Masterwork weapon and armor raid perks that we had in Destiny 1, but they're in Masterworks instead.
Raid perks would be cool. That's a good idea. I like that.
I honestly think that would be cool. I think so. We have it right now. It tracks kills.
That'd be fun.
I think after a certain amount of PvE kills, it would unlock like the raid slot. So then you could put in some sort of raid specific mod or something like that into it. That would actually give a raid worthy perk.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You could do it in armor too.
Yeah. I really miss raid perks. Like,
same.
I just, like extra damage on oracles or even Cocoon, which was from the raid weapons in Kingsfall. Like, I don't know. It really made them special, as trash as some of those weapons were when you got Cocoon on, say, the rocket launcher or whatever. Yeah, Zahuli's Bane was what I was thinking of. That hand cannon was so bad. It was the worst.
I like how even after like hand cannons got buffed and then Zowie's Bane got buffed. Still really bad.
So bad. But then again, everything was Ice Luna.
It was aesthetically so cool.
It was.
It was a shame that there's no reason to use it.
It's such a slow reload perk and be like, check out how cool this looks.
You know what? I didn't like the aesthetic of the Kingsfall weapons.
No.
They all looked too samey. I even got confused between what was the Scout.
Sniper and the Scout. Oh
yes.
my God.
Those look the same.
God. I'm so confused.
Yeah,
Yasmin was the sniper, and I forget what the scout was.
Doom of Chelchis and Defiance of
Doom of Chelchis, yes. Yeah, it was so confusing. But I didn't like the design. Like, Fatebringer was amazing. There's no mistaking Fatebringer.
I actually like the Kingsfall stuff. I thought it looked cool.
Did you?
Yeah.
I especially like the black.
I like the Kingsfall raid.
You know what would have been awesome? If you could use the shader system today on those weapons to recolor them.
Oh.
They would look badass.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if you get to keep all those old raids and weapons, man? Right. Have you guys rated the raid? Like, have you guys ranked them live on the show at all?
Probably.
Yeah. How many times?
Too many. Okay, we're not going to go there.
No. I mean, it's everybody has kind of their mix of things, but including the ones from D1 and D2 in that order. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've done it since we've gotten the raid layer.
Yeah.
Would you qualify those on the same?
Oh
scale?
Yeah. Regular still
length as Crota.
Crota's end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The boss fight's amazing.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Boss fight.
All right, so let's re-rank them then.
All right.
Let's do it.
Nick, I'm gonna need you to go back in all of our shows and edit in what our previous rankings were.
Yeah, because I don't.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
I don't
Thanks.
It's a loose. It comes with an asterisk. It's the end of the show. Just throwing it out there. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and actually, as kind of crazy as I think Kingsfall was, like it was hard. And the raid was, I would call it, all over the place because one boss didn't necessarily relate to the next, which I think in Wrath of the Machine is what we learned. It's like, we're learning to use the spheres and to dunk them, and you'll go toward the end. Like, it taught you a mechanic that you carried through to the end. It was a little more casual in that sense. Kingsfall, looking back though, man, Golgoroth and Golgoroth in particular, I think is a really fun boss. I actually I really enjoyed Oryx. But looking back, I like that there's bosses. Then I went into Destiny 2, and I expected that of Leviathan, and I really enjoyed it because I love puzzles. I'm a Zelda guy. I'm a Metroid guy. I love, honestly, what I think is inspiration from games like that and mini games to come after. I really like the puzzles. Like, I loved Gauntlet, but there's no boss, and I really missed that. So anyway, Kingsfall might be, in retrospect, one of my number one raids of all time.
So quick question. Since you say you like Zelda, have you played through Breath of the Wild?
I've not beat it yet.
Okay, so but you've played it enough.
Yes, enough, right? I know. I've been streaming Destiny too much.
It's understandable.
But, I'm going to beat Zelda.
Okay,
I'm going to.
I've been streaming it as well, just as a side note. So I really one thing I've enjoyed is the shrines and just like figuring out the puzzles and everything. Sometimes they're obvious, sometimes they're like, gotta go to IGN for this one.
The wikis.
But yeah, that's the way that I feel. Like some of the Leviathan fights where it's a puzzle that's still really hard, but I still, for me, it's what do I feel at the end of it? Was that satisfying to complete, to figure out and everything? And for most of them, for dogs and for baths, yes, I enjoyed it. For Gauntlet, I would kind of feel flat because it's like there's a lot of waiting.
Gauntlet is the only one that's got replayable value because it's fun every time I go in there because it feels like this arena and you got to be running around like crazy and like dogs is just rote memorization and completely boring.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that's that in a nutshell is how difficult it is to make a raid that people enjoy. I mean, there is different engagements, just like Vault of Glass, and the reason why Vault of Glass I think would be high on everybody's list is because it doesn't have the same types of activities. It has cooperative, team-based mechanics. It has more individualized work. There's gaps in between. The Gorgon maze, it just was very different, right? It satisfied scratched a lot of different itches, and I mean that's what people like. It's making raids that are one dimensional is what turns people off. It'll satisfy only a small portion of the community, and I think that's what you get when you go to the Crota raids, and I don't know, Wrath of the Machine. Great, love that raid.
Yeah,
I love heavy teamwork, mechanic puzzles.
I really enjoy the Leviathan raid.
Arguably one
of the hardest hero
challenges.
moments in Wrath of the Machine too, which is fun.
There is, yeah. You can kind of like carry it through by yourself if people go down. So that's fun.
Wrath was great.
Yeah, Wrath is great. It's a great raid.
I don't want to get off ranking, but have any of you ever played Metroid Prime 2?
No.
Dang.
Like for the GBA?
I'm going to tweet at you.
No,
it was on
for the Wii.
GameCube.
Wait.
No, GameCube.
Oh.
And it was also re-released as a trilogy. No, you're right. It was on Wii as well as a trilogy.
Hold on, was that the one? Was that the one with that they changed directions? It made it more like the camera angle.
It was a first-person shooter. Yeah. So they switched
I played
Super
both
Metroid. Yeah, Super Metroid, iconic, one of the best 2D games of all time. Awesome. But Metroid Prime was a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think inspired
to twist things and all that.
For Wii, that was for the trilogy. But on GameCube, it was just, the GameCube controller. But you were right. That was actually quite good on Wii.
It was amazing on Wii.
What I was going to bring up.
I love that game.
And I will tweet it to you guys. Look at the boss Quadraxis. I was like one of my all-time favorite first-person shooter bosses, but I bring this up a lot on the show. It's the type of thing that I search for in Destiny. You have to figure out this boss Quadraxis. You got to roll into a ball and you got to do all these other things, but it's this puzzle that meets a boss. And that's what I think we experienced with Argos. And I think if we've all played, everybody's played the Raid Lair? Yes. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. Like that's what I search for in Destiny. It's what I ask for in any enemy that I face. I don't just want to shoot you in the juice box. Instead, after I shoot you in the juice box, something else happens, and there's these phases to the way you react. And I think they got a little closer. Like the Cabal, their shield, they can really like throw you away with their physics is awesome, and you got to shoot the shield. But that's like step 1. So they need to get step 2, step 3. I think that would make Destiny a lot more fun because it's a shooter at the end of the day.
So, I think one of the things is a lot of the fights and just general gameplay is geared towards a very casual player that doesn't take the time to learn beyond step 1, basically. Sometimes not even step 1 for a lot of the fights and engagements. So it kind of sucks to be that type of player that wants to stick around and have the majority of your user base, have a sandbox and an entire game that doesn't have that step 2. Barely, for the most part, kind of barely has that step 1, aside from, the raids and the raid layer. When you have strikes, gone are the days of having... Yeah, I mean, just remember like spider tanks, the spider tanks, and a lot of the fights are one of the still most interesting bosses because it takes shoot the legs, then shoot the glowy part, and even then we don't have that in so many of the fights. We just have a boss. We have a boss that evaporates, and it's like, are we supposed to do something to stop that? Is there anything to make him come back? There's.
Well, I think I think if you look at all the bosses in D2, they have phases to them. I don't think any of them are of them one-dimensional.
No, not really one-dimensional. They have phases where the play space will generally change, but I think the type of stuff that satisfies players like us are the ones that want to stay around and can even entice other players is not necessarily a changing play space, but the type where an engagement, an encounter has steps to it regarding, we have like boss may change behavior slightly. They'll start shooting faster. They'll start roaming around the arena more. The arena itself will change, but the mechanics itself don't really change. You don't have that step 1, then go to step 2, then go to step 3. You just have like
a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah. Like we kind of have that already with the behaviors changing. But
like the arena changes and like suddenly you're in hell.
Yeah, you kind of have that. It almost feels like there, needs to have that press the button type mode. I mean, we had that in some certain way. Step 1, step 2, step 3 with in the Panoptes fight at the end of the story.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like the overall,
I wanted to ask about that.
The power level of that fight is really low. I was messing with Red Glitch when we were on stream, and he was wanting to level. I was like, I'm just going to pick up the ball and I'm just going to hold it. I'm just going to see how long this lasts. It's like it almost lasts like 30, 40 seconds before you die from that buff. And it's like you can amp up that damage a little bit more, but you have fights like that where there are those multiple phases. You have to do this to get this to happen, and then everything else is just deal damage, and then movement's going to change a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you didn't like Panoptes?
I like Panoptes mechanically. I just think that
really,
for the most part, you had to do this thing to get this thing to happen to then damage him. I do think that overall the difficulty was very low in said thing, but it's still a mechanic-based fight rather than I have to shoot boss until its health goes to 0.
It took me no effort to figure that fight out, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
It felt very staged.
The sense of discovery,
I just stumbled into it and beat it on the first time, and I was overpower leveled. The fight was simplistic in that I didn't have to really. I could just take a crap load of damage, and I think that the damage level or the difficulty of that boss, I never got past any other phases of him. It just is done.
Yeah, I was disappointed with Panoptes myself because it had the cinematic cues. It was like Heavy Rain and soon Detroit, where it's like hit the button and you get context sensitive next thing. Sean. Wait, no, Jason. So I liked like those next stages, but I felt like I was just, I don't know. I felt like red button, green button, purple button, whatever. Whereas like you said, it wasn't bringing the boss to 0. I didn't feel that. Okay. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for with Argos. Yeah, Argos, not Argon.
I
like
Argos.
Bring it back.
Oh my God, Argos is so cool.
Argos is a good
You
fight.
really get in there, you figure it out.
Yeah.
It's cool.
There's lots of layers to it. Right, you have to match up the element thing,
Literally.
and then you have to, literally many layers to him. You have to take off his layers. Yeah, I really enjoyed that fight.
I like the fact that not only it's one of the few fights in the game that takes not only your gunplay and stuff like that, but also movement. The real unique thing of Destiny is a lot of the movement abilities into it. I completed a raid challenge yesterday, where my stream said, "Hey, do a run only using Blink," and I've never used Blink. Never used Blink.
Wait,
at
that
all.
wasn't an actual challenge.
No, like just
that would be cool.
Stream, my stream said you should do it, and I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it. But yeah, like completing a fight using Blink, the entire fight, the entire raid can be done only using Blink, and you can even jump up on all the it was entirely built to take access.
I did a Blink only also.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I really like that a fight, allows you to use your movement, use your supers in interesting ways. It's a fight that really encompasses everything that us as players can do, which I feel like we need more of in the game. Instead of
we need a lot more.
Only shooting guns.
It's tough to make because, like you said, it's a sandbox game. It's not a mechanics heavy game. And we need those mechanics, though, because, man, those Metroid games, those were amazing. They're like 15 years old, right? Or 10, 15 years or so.
Pretty old.
When they did when they did the first person shooter one.
2003 was Metroid Prime.
Okay.
So 14 years old.
So 14 years old, and that game was phenomenal. It had
oh my God, Retro Studios.
Yeah, it had
so
puzzles. It was a first-person shooter, and if you played it on the Wii, there was times where you had to actually move your controller and twist it and all that in certain ways.
The doors open.
Yeah, it was so cool.
You even had to insert your controller in the door.
Yeah,
it was cool, man.
They took advantage of those motion controls, and I thought it was going to be really gimmicky, but I really enjoyed it back then. And that type of stuff goes a long way for creating memories for gamers when they unlock and figure those things out. Like it's part of the puzzle thing that happens with Zelda is you get that
oh
high.
God, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you get that high and you're like, and you can you can even
why
do
is
it
this rock
ways.
on this hillside? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we have that with Callus, right? I think that's what we talk about with the dark and the light side, the throne room and the upside down.
Yeah, the belly, the underbelly plays quite a bit to that because you can, before when I first saw the underbelly, I was like,
seeing all the symbols. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can completely do the raid and go in a smart way to navigate all the way through all the all the things as it rotates each week. And I thought that was a cool puzzle that they put in that is pretty auxiliary to the experience. I mean, it is part of the experience, but it's not what you have to do.
It's optional. You're right. It's discovery. Yeah. It's like this moment where like I'll be honest, I don't know how to do it. Like I've been through it a bunch, but I'm always following and grabbing onto someone's tail when I'm doing it. The people that figured it out or even being a part of it is so cool. So I mean, they nailed stuff like that for sure. I mean, I really think the Leviathan raid is special. Raid lair, pretty solid overall, but it's all about Argos for me. It's like awesome.
I like the idea of you going into the Leviathan itself and going to this, fight this boss that is been swallowed up by this ship. I mean, when you think about it, it's just like
so one thing that I've been noticing happening with Destiny, kind of at least in terms of the raids, like they've been getting a little more complex over the course of time. Same thing kind of happened in World of Warcraft, where a lot of the early fights, be it dungeons or raids, were very simple mechanically. Not a lot of do A, do B type stuff. It was just deal damage and get through it. So like over time, developers kind of ended up making things more difficult, figuring out how to add more stuff into it. And I'm really hoping that Bungie kind of hits that stride where they've been doing that in the raids. I really want them to transition that type of stuff into just general overall gameplay. We kind of got that with public events.
They've done that sometimes. Like they did that with some of the strikes, and it works if you're in a fire team, but as soon as you're in with like randoms, it becomes so frustrating. What was that Venus strike where you had to carry the orbs? And you had to like
the PlayStation exclusive strike that Xbox only got now.
On Destiny 1?
Yeah. If I got into that strike and I was just like running strikes like with randoms, I would immediately exit it because it was so frustrating.
Why?
To try, because somebody would go ahead and grab that orb. They didn't know what to do with it. If I didn't get to it first, if I got to it first, then my teammates wouldn't be like shooting the aliens. So it was just like constantly, and the end boss was all about like
with the boss
grabbing the orb,
sweeping all this crap in a circle.
Yeah.
Really? The echo chamber.
Then doing the boss was the same thing. Is if I went and grabbed the orb, then my teammates were shooting the boss at the wrong time. If I didn't get the orb, like my teammates couldn't get the orb to the right place when it needed to go. So it's just like I just felt like
I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I never could.
I honestly
it never felt like it was a smooth experience when I was playing with blueberries. When I played with people I could communicate with, it was not a problem.
Well,
but strikes always have to be written with
orb carrier because you just generated your super, your grenades, and your ability. You could just sit there and chuck. You could be part of the solution. I don't know.
Yeah, Briar, I think you're discouraging them though from having bosses like that. Where for me, it's the opposite. I want bosses like that. Like I don't, I get that they were noobs.
Is they have to build strikes with the thinking that these are going to be match made events, and as soon as you have no communication, like all of a sudden you're adding this level of complexity.
The funny thing is they've already learned from that in just the public event on Mercury, how you have to have the orbs and dunk them. If someone just picks up the thing and then doesn't use it, it spawns a bunch more for you. So I mean, they've already learned from that type of criticism.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Animu Pepper says, what is the right way to eat cookies with milk? Do you dip just the tip or dip the entire cookie and let it soak with milk?
You take a bite first, then you let it soak in because you got to break the seal. That's how I do it.
Yeah, I don't dip at all. I do eat the cookie, drink the milk.
Yeah, I do part.
If you're if you're needing to bite the cookie prior to dipping, you're eating stale cookies. See, the thing is, what you need to do is take your entire hand and just dunk it in.
Gross.
Yuck.
And then what if you just put the cookie in your mouth and you just pour the milk on your face?
Time it to the point where if you lift up that cookie, the gravity of the cookie and the weight is going to rip it apart, and you barely get it in.
You're leaving it in there too long.
No, that's crazy, Pope.
I hold it to the last second. I go to the last possible second.
Honestly,
I'm with
Pope on this one. I prefer if I'm gonna have cookies and milk. Listen, if I'm gonna have cookies and milk, I'm not having a regular cookie. I'm having a cookie that is clearly going to get absorbed with milk. I'm not having like a beverage while I eat some cookies. You know, like a cookies and milk experience. I'm going to dip it. I'm going to get it soggy, and I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to eat a soggy cookie, and that's also. But it's going to be half. It's going to be halvesies.
Too much milk.
No, it's going to be halvesies.
But can we really trust the man who has not had a quad dip?
Wait, what? What'd she say?
This is true. This is true.
Watts makes a good point.
True. I step out.
If you got a dry chocolate chip cookie that's going to absorb a lot of milk, maybe you want to dip like a quarter of the cookie so you get a good milk to cookie ratio. Maybe you got an Oreo cookie that's going to absorb very little milk. You want to dip the whole thing so you get a lot of milk on there because the Oreo is going to.
So it depends on the size of cookie, though. If it's an Oreo, I will tell you, I bite the top and I dip it, and then it soaks down and it bubbles up. You see, boop, 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 and then the bubbles stop. That's how it's true. And then at the right moment, you pull it out. You can't have a soggy cookie, though.
No, you can still have a soggy cookie. It's delicious.
You want the crunch and you want the milk.
It's not a good cookie to milk sitting until you've lost one to the bottom of the cup. And at the end,
it's like losing a marshmallow off the end of your stick. That's a failure.
And then one is falling in there, and you know that when you're done and you've got that last swig of milk, you're gonna get that last cookie to slide in.
Okay, look, we're talking about Oreos here. The proper way.
Oh, here we go.
To take the Oreo, and you get a fork, and then you know, like the little filling part, you stick the fork in.
We are familiar with the filling in an Oreo cookie.
Yeah, and you just dunk the whole thing. Use the fork as a proper utensil to dunk that thing in. You're good.
Interesting.
Do you eat pizza with a fork as well?
Sounds pretty good.
I could just use chopsticks.
No, Briar. I eat a pizza like a proper American. I fold the entire thing into one giant mushy stack of pizza and then try to
insert the whole thing
like a Totino.
Yeah.
Look.
Pizza roll.
Are we gonna have a cookie dunking contest at Guardian Con?
Looks like another thing that we're doing.
Yeah, we got a list. We're gonna be busy.
You're making me hungry for pizza and Oreo cookies right now.
Yeah.
The Mohegan 9 says, if you could only be one, would you rather be Batman or Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne's rich. I'm gonna go with him. But
Bruce Wayne, you could fund some superheroes.
With Bruce Wayne, I could become Batman. If I'm Batman, I can't become Bruce Wayne.
I don't know if that's how it works.
That's how it works.
It's not how it works.
It's not how it was worded.
That's a tough call, but Batman doesn't get the ladies, but Bruce Wayne does. So I feel like I'm gonna go with Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne,
Batman's
no cape.
lonely, man.
No cape with Bruce Wayne.
He can buy a cape. He's fucking rich.
Yeah, but he looks ridiculous.
Dress up as Batman.
He doesn't look ridiculous. He has enough money to make sure people don't think he looks ridiculous.
I'm going Batman because I think it'd be dope to hang out with Superman up in like some.
Bruce Wayne could hang out with Superman. He could.
They not like how they hang out in the space.
Money's a superpower.
Their space station up in the sky, and they're hanging with
Superman doesn't want your
Bruce
account
Wayne
recovery,
built that
Patrick.
space station with his money.
All I'm saying is that Batman, he's got all his super friends, and he's like.
Bruce Wayne can buy friends with all of his money.
You don't buy super friends, man. You make them.
And think about it. Like Batman is always.
You can fund them to make them with all your money.
You got a lot to learn about friendship, my friend.
Think about it. Batman's like always on the clock too, and he's like pretending, and he has no money. He's broke, Whereas like if you're Bruce Wayne and stuff's going down at the diner or whatever, you're like, well, I'm sorry, I better get out of here. You're out.
Stuff's going down. You say you buy the diner.
Yeah, or buy the debt, or pay off the robber. You're like, I'll give you $1 million to stop. He's like, okay, I'll stop.
That didn't help.
So
he
has superpowers. It's called money.
Bruce Wayne wasn't a billionaire.
Briar.
Wasn't a billionaire then. He was only a child. He was a kid to billionaire
parents had billions. They couldn't pay off the robbers.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that Batman has a relationship, kind of tension relationship with Catwoman. Right.
If I get to touch Catwoman, I'll be Batman.
That's what I'm saying. I'm Batman. If I get to hook up with, there's some like things going on with Catwoman.
That's. Are we Barbara?
You already saw the scene where Catwoman snuck into Bruce Wayne's manor, and then he was an
something so interesting, make it sound so boring.
Yeah. Look, I'm shuffling up these cards here. I'm trying to.
He's ready to play Magic after this.
Next question. Pika Wood says, if animals could talk, which one would be the most racist?
I don't think I want to answer that.
I don't know, man.
If animals could talk.
I'm going with the polar bear. I mean, I got to say it. Guy's racist.
Nobody knows why.
Polar bears have black skin and white fur.
Bears are going extinct.
They're just
Is that true?
That's because they're on the wrong side of history, Teft.
No, polar bears are just like zebras. They're black and white. They're the most non-racist.
Also racist.
I don't know.
Is it because they're like confused because they're everything, so they're like, they're lashing out?
Worlds?
No, I'm gonna go with something like a chihuahua. Every time I see a chihuahua, that thing's barking and everything.
They do be barking.
Chihuahuas, interesting enough, not racist, but are fascists.
You're making shit up, Brian.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
I would have thought you would have gone with a rabbit or something, man. I feel like, dogs in general. We have facts. They are factually racist.
Yeah.
I think if animals could talk, they would make fun of our dumbasses for having such a thing as racism.
Probably.
There you go. Yeah. It's true.
Anyway.
That's fair.
They don't
Gluten-free
care.
Angram. Gluten-free Angram says 2017 is come and gone. What games have surprised you the most, and what games have disappointed you the most?
Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice
Hellblade,
was
amazing.
a game that wasn't really on my radar. And then I started seeing development stuff about it a while ago, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. And it came out, and I was just blown away by that game.
Yeah.
I think that's like my game of the year. I loved that game.
Cool.
I was really surprised by Cuphead. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, what a beauty.
I did not expect to be playing a game like Cuphead on stream in September, and I loved it.
I was shocked by Assassin's Creed. I had no interest in playing another Assassin's Creed. They've been kind of meh for so long. And actually, once they started showing it off and once I started playing it, I'm really into it. I like it quite a bit.
So here's
Doki Doki Literature.
I had never played.
I mean, it was free.
It's free.
And then I was like, so it's a funny story. It's a funny story. Okay. Before everyone really knew, it's not really funny, knew about Doki Doki, I went on Steam and I was looking through my recommended queue. Of course, it was
Doki
there
Doki. Yes.
because of me. And I was like, it says the tags. Doesn't just say visual novel. Doesn't say cutesy stuff. I'm like, okay. So I actually downloaded it that night. I have one of my mods called Zealous. I told him about it as well, and he played it that night and was like, "It's actually really good." So I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go play that on Steam and on stream." And it just kind of like took off. Everyone started finding out about it, and they were like, "It's creepy. There's more to it." And that's definitely a game that I didn't expect. Like,
It's super fucking creepy and disturbing.
Yeah, it's a disturbing game.
There's like a warning right when you click on the first thing you open the game. This game has a lot of stuff that's gonna mess with you. You should know
it's
that.
like if you suffer from.
I don't believe those warnings ever since Hellblade lied to me and said they delete my save. I died.
But this is a warning of if you suffer with mental problems, you might want to skip on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
PUBG
it's
was
a free
pretty
game.
big surprise. I don't know who saw PUBG coming.
Yeah. No. It's funny that my choice was Fortnite because we'd seen it for a while, like years. And it was like building stuff and like that was it.
Yeah.
And then they decided to do Battle Royale, which took the world by storm. I mean, I would have never expected. I mean, PUBG, granted, was a brand new franchise, but Fortnite had been around a while. And then out of nowhere, I was like, whoa, holy crap. And I guarantee you the studio equally it was like, whoa, we've kind of got a hit on our hands. Thank goodness we copied PUBG, who uses our engine.
It's actually pretty amazing that Battle Royale struck it big. Like, it had already been popular on Twitch with H1Z1.
Right.
But then a new Battle Royale, like, wow, okay, it took Storm. And then another Battle Royale also competing with that, like, the player space there. It's pretty interesting. And being free to play.
There's a lot of room for Battle Royale. I think we're going to see more of that, obviously. In fact, there's that...
it's the new MOBA, baby.
Yeah, what is that one from... I don't think it's Bluehole, but there's another one that's like a hyper-realistic where everything like shatters. Like you can blow everything up. It's coming out of Korea or China. I
heard about that,
and it's like kind of... Yeah, it's like really cool looking. You can ride on like the water. You can grab like speeders and stuff like that. It's cool looking, but it's a little early. We'll see. But there will be a lot more Battle Royale, I think.
Minecraft Battle Royale.
So
there's probably already a Roblox Battle Royale.
I'm pretty sure there is, actually, yeah. When I think about it.
One of the things that I think is surprising for me in 2017 of playing games, I hadn't played on my PlayStation. I had never played Last of Us. And and it came out of nowhere. I know a ton of people had heard about it, but I got the remastered version, right? And that was the first time I had ever played that game. And literally just came out of nowhere for me. And I remember finishing that game and just feeling, just so much about the characters. And as a father, it really affected me a lot. Mm-hmm. And I remember just playing and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, because of course I spoil everything.
You don't want to spoil everything? What the shit, man?
That game in particular, if you haven't played it, I'd 100% pick up the remastered version and play it.
Yeah, it's outstanding. It comes with the remastered version. You can play with like high fidelity visuals, or you can play at 60 frames per second, right?
I chose 60 frames per second.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dakota says, "What's everyone's hands down favorite soda?" And then he adds, "Nothing is better than a cold Coke," which I disagree with.
Green River, 100%.
Mexican
many
Coke,
people have not heard of.
I've never had
Mexican
Green River.
Coke.
Mexican Coke.
Yeah, I'd go with Mexican Coke also. I love a good bottled Coke.
I like Diet Dr. Pepper. It's my favorite.
No thanks.
Interesting. No Green River.
There was a XP boost from Mountain Dew for Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And
Code Red, baby.
I drank the shit out of that stuff, and it became an addiction. So I stay away from it for a good reason, and I will not touch Mountain Dew any longer.
My friend in high school, that was when I think Halo 2 came out. There was that version of the Mountain Dew, and he drank so much of it that he was like suddenly gone from school. He had like gone into the hospital because of heart problems due to how much he was drinking.
What?
Yeah,
Mountain Dew is bad for you, bro.
Hey.
Well, anything.
Yes, when you are drinking
sugar
enough
and caffeine.
Yeah, those things are
Doritos and Mountain Dew double XP. Was it Halo 4?
Mountain Dew has some crazy flavors that they release. I do appreciate that. By the way, Europa was the game. It's from Tencent. This game Europa, but if you look into it, it's like this crazy PUBG-like game that may be coming out next year.
Wait, from Tencent?
It's from Tencent. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had a video
game.
I
think it's Tencent.
It's probably a company owned by Tencent.
No, yeah, it is. Yep. Features 100 player battles on an exotic island with dynamic weather system and destructible cover.
I like that destructible.
I like
cover.
the weather.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like everything shatters into little like pieces. Like
I like that.
You'll look it up. It looks cool, but like any game, we'll see.
Cool.
Last question of the night. Dark Lord says, "My ex-girlfriend just bought me a Christmas gift. Does that mean she wants to get back together, or is she just being nice?"
Did she buy the gift before you broke up? That would be my question.
There is no follow-up questions here. You're going to have to make a decision based on the information at hand.
So wait, she just bought him,
she broke up.
We don't even know what the gift was. I need to look
ex-girlfriend.
up the gift.
I think this is simple.
Did
you guys
you
are
like the
overthinking
gift?
this.
Did you like the gift?
Was it a good gift? Was it a dog?
We're only
food?
allowed-
was it like a Starbucks card?
Yeah, a gift card. A gift card is like, hey, I value
There
our
is
friendship.
nothing a woman does.
There's a different
accident.
tone of a gift between a Starbucks card and like
we
edible
need to know what
undies.
the
Like
gift is.
totally
Yeah.
means different things.
The fact that she gave you a gift for Christmas means that she wants to get back together with you.
I agree with Pope.
Wow, Pope laying it down. Really?
It depends on the gift. 100%.
I think it depends on the gift.
There's no way she's going to.
We don't have that information.
Give him a gift.
It also depends on like how close friends are they after the breakup. How long has it been?
Look,
like,
don't overcomplicate it.
No. This is a very complicated situation.
No, act on instinct. Look, she wants a gift from an ex-girlfriend.
Get back together.
She wants you back.
Well, wait. So it being a gift from a female, we have a female on stream here. Watts, what's your perspective?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Patrick.
I was going to make a joke.
I was getting ready to say
it's too easy.
I'm full bore ready to answer this one
Holtz
here.
is very sensitive. I wanted to make the joke.
He is very ready. I don't think it's as simple as just she wants to get back together. There's way too many questions. How long ago did you break up? Have you been close friends since the breakup? What is the gift? Because like if you broke up and you're still kind of friends and you get a gift card
before the breakup too.
I got questions for you, Watts. I got questions for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever given an ex-boyfriend a gift?
Have I ever spoken to an ex-boyfriend after we broke up? No.
Oh wow.
So,
damn.
If you were to send an ex-boyfriend a gift, could he infer from that information that you possibly wanted to get back together?
Based on me never speaking to an ex ever and then just buying him a gift randomly, I think that makes me a weirdo.
Yeah.
And a little bit psychotic.
Are you a weirdo? Are you a psychotic weirdo that wants to get back together?
Yes. See, that's everybody, it's a very important question here.
Pope knows that's what everybody's really like. That's what he's banking on.
100% depends on the gift.
It depends on so many things.
Everybody is a little weird.
You cannot.
All right.
That's like reading into a glance and being like, that person wants to marry. Oh my God.
Dark Lord, next week we're going to need some more information.
We're going to need some more information. For now, my advice to you would be to go get that bottle of vodka and then just show up at her place and just see what happens.
Yeah. I would also recommend maybe a duster jacket and nothing underneath it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if you're the type of person that's taking we're going with a gift card from your ex as we're getting back together, I could see you turning up with just nothing on and a bottle of vodka.
Like a since it's so popular on the podcast, just a bag of dicks. What if she gave you
a bag of dicks?
A bag of dicks.
No, that's the gift.
You should contact your local authorities for starters.
What does that mean? Use coupon code Revolver Live to get 20% off.
Also, don't touch them. Don't open it.
No, they're a bag of candy dicks.
Immediately put them on ice.
You need some penis now to satisfy you. I mean, you have many questions.
I mean,
definitely put them on ice. Because
there's some
maybe it's your neighbors.
Problems here. Yeah.
Also, it doesn't say anything about whether or not Dark Lord Alpha.
Are you serious?
It was Dark Lord Alpha, right?
Where did you get that? Wait, what? Is this a thing? Briar has a bag.
He's sponsored.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Hashtag sponsorship.
Hashtag ad, guys.
Hashtag ad.
Why does it look like he keeps reaching down over and over again? I'm really confused. I thought he was going to get a bag.
Hands up.
Coming up. It's coming up.
Patrick, where are your hands?
Magic card.
Yeah, magic cards. That's the sign.
What
right
a
there.
sellout!
I've been shuffled. Okay, look, I'm playing a deck that's basically like solitaire, and I have to learn how to play
it. It's a deck, right?
Yeah, okay. The deck's called Ad Nauseam Tendrils, and you can look up
Ad Infinitum.
Ad Nauseam. Ad Nauseam.
Someone asked if those are real dicks or artificial. Do you have a real bag of
really
human penises in there, Briar?
Yeah, and you're sponsored?
Those are amazing. Actually, they look pretty good.
Fran.
It tastes like nerds.
Yeah.
Once again, this conversation
bag of nerd penises.
Going
That's all you get here on Twitch. So, Watts, you summed it up.
Oh my God. Oh, that's great, guys.
Can we wrap this one up?
I think that's it, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to episode 64.
Can we name it the one with dicks?
It's 65. It's episode 65.
Yes, not 69.
This is the last podcast of 2017, guys.
Was that really the last one, 2017?
Yeah.
Cheers. I drank all of them.
December
I drank all of
28th.
it too. There's a lemon in there though, so like.
Put a lemon in your Coke?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited that this little experiment of ours has worked out.
What?
I don't know what you're talking
Think
about.
about it.
That having
65 episodes ago, we left Planet Destiny and started our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could not imagine doing it with a better group of people. So thank you very much.
Hey, here's to 2018.
2018.
2018.
To DCP. Cheers.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To more bag of dicks.
Mm-hmm.
Coupon code Revolver Live.
Be sure to use if you also want to get a custom Scuff gaming controller. If it's scuffgaming. Is it scuffgaming.com?
Yes.
That's the typing in the back.
It is scuffgaming.com. All right. Yeah, you use code DCP to get yourself like % off of a custom gaming controller too. Yeah, you got to throw that one in there. God, how do we have sponsors? Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the 65th episode of the Destiny Community Podcast. If you want to find more of me, I'm at Holtzmann_YT, where I will probably be posting pictures of me playing Magic the Gathering with Mark Rosewater. It's going to be sweet. It's amazing.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter at @TheBriarRabbit. You can find me on YouTube occasionally, making videos. Just look for Briar Rabbit, or streaming almost every weekday. Look up Briar Rabbit. Or if you like podcasts, check out my other podcast and get a discount on a bag of dicks, Revolver Live.
Definitely. I am Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. Catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. And check out my YouTube channel, Tefty Teft. Thanks.
And I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just search for Miss 5000 Watts.
Fran.
Oh, it's my turn. I am Fran Mirabella. Check me out on Twitch TV/FM3_. I haven't got the 3 characters yet. And also, of course, IGN's Fireteam Chat. Check us out on youtube.com/Fireteam Chat. That's pretty much it.
And this has been Pope Bear. You can find me on Twitter at Pope Bear. You can also follow the podcast at DestinyComPod, and make sure that you follow us and turn that notifications on. We only use that Twitter account to post information that's coming up and what's going on with the podcast. Next week, to ring out the new year, we have on January 4th, we have Versus, no longer Versus the stream. It's just Versus.
He was able to get that?
He was, yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, he was able to get Versus. So Versus is going to be on, and he will be taking my place. I will be absent.
Nobody can take your place, Pope.
Yes,
it's true.
Thank you.
Not even a bag of dicks.
What is he going to do? Interview himself?
Yes, he will.
Yes. He will do both sides.
Tefty's going to be doing the interviews, and I will be on a beach in Florida.
Yeah.
So
Getting
really excited about that.
If you want to stalk Pope while he's gone, use Google Earth to find the giant glowing white orb on a random beach in Florida.
Okay.
Just because you're so sunny there and you're so pale, it would probably.
Nice.
All right, so we have a great.
He's white.
It's
iridescent.
I get it. So we have a great month coming up. Some awesome guests. Make sure to follow us. And if you're listening to this on iTunes or any of your favorite podcasting sites, make sure to rate us. It really helps us out. All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. To everyone. Hope you had a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, or what the fuck ever else you do during this time of year. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next
year.
So bye.
Next year, guys.
2018.
Thanks for listening.
2018.
Expansion 3.
Oh, God.
We are still live.